Bello. Hello. How's everyone doing? Welcome to this fine stream we have on this, it is, Monday. Yes, it is. How's it going, everybody? I am exhausted. Mentally exhausted. So today we're not going to be playing games. Today we're going to be doing a sort of pseudo-podcast, It's a segment that I'm going to start coining as Ninten-DOOMSCROLLIng. And, yeah, suffice to say, we are going to be just hanging out tonight. Do you know what? I want to catch up on Switch news. I want to give my thoughts on it because I really want to talk about this stuff. And it's just in general, this whole situation has been so just fucking bad. And it's, I'm gonna try to limit my thoughts on, the tariffs and everything because that's not necessary. I don't think people need to know what I think we can all assume what I think about politics right now. Like it's not gonna be anything like crazy, but still. 1 second. Okay, yeah, somebody just sent me something out of nowhere. But yeah, I have, I think we can assume my opinion on tariffs pushing back Switch US pre-orders, and more likely than not, because things and or people are a little immune to change. Yes, it does seem most likely that the Switch 2 will be more expensive, more likely along the lines of, it's not, like, official, but, like, it is looking more and more likely that the Switch 2 will, at the very least, cost another $100, and that is unless Nintendo is willing, which they aren't, to, to tank such a big tariff. I don't think they're inclined as a company. Like, they have to keep people fed and, they have to keep jobs for their people. So I'm never going to claim that they shouldn't, I'm not going to ever claim that they shouldn't I don't know the terms. They shouldn't, like, keep prices lower, that they shouldn't, like, keep the prices high or something like, I don't know. It's fucking, we're going to get into it. I'm going to basically go over a bunch of news from different websites. We're just gonna read through articles. I'm gonna make sure at the end of this video or of the stream, I'm gonna make sure by the end of this stream we have all of the websites that we're gonna be using linked below, and then also I have some other websites. I need to make sure. I've got two websites specifically for Nintendo news, and I'm gonna use those as like the first ones we cover today, because one of them actually helped a lot in terms of what's going on, and then another one is just the one I always go to for, in general, Nintendo news. So we're just gonna spend today just kind of going through the shit. The dirty fucking yucky ass shit. And we're just gonna talk about it, because I haven't talked about my... the reason I want to, one, is just because this whole situation has been so mentally exhausting to cover that honestly all I have in me right now is just talking about it, period. Like, that's all my brain can really do right now. I really haven't been playing games as much. I haven't done a lot. I've actually taken the time to kind of go back to an old thing. Why does the Switch 2 cost half of a house payment? Blame Orange Man. That's actually, well, it's partly blame Orange Man. We'll get more into interviews and stuff that have happened. So again, for those that are keeping an eye on this, I don't know fully, because I know there's been a lot of interviews and stuff. I think The Verge, IGN had an interview with specifically people like Doug Bowser and Bill Trinan in regards to pricing and stuff. We're going to talk about that. We're just going to do research today. We're just going to look into stuff. And yeah, in general, personally, I think it's more along the lines of boo Orange Man instead of boo Nintendo, because here's the thing, unfortunately, this was a fucking powder keg that was going to go off no matter what. Everybody was going to do this eventually. It just sucks a lot because Bing Bing Mario Company was the first one to do it, and that it just sucks. This has been by far the worst week in terms of Nintendo news that we have had in a very long time, and it's especially during what was supposed to be the most jam-packed Nintendo news week that we could have gotten, and so that it's just ultimately so fucking disappointing. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna read a lot of news articles, something that sounds interesting. I'll read it, and of course, all the credit goes to the appropriate websites. I'll make sure to have timestamps of like when we cover specific websites, going through their articles, and I'll make sure to even link the websites in the description when the VOD comes out. I'll make sure to do that. But today, I'm just gonna do Switch 2 news. I'm gonna cover what we've basically have had to deal with for not even the past week. It has not even been a week, but for the past week, that has happened. And then afterwards, I want to, if we have time, I want to do a little Nintendo Switch tier list of what I feel like my personal opinion has been on Switch games for the past few years. We'll find a tier list and we'll just chill out and do it. So with that being said, let's do it. You know, I should, you know, you would think that I would have everything set up, but I do not. I don't. So 1 second, let me get this all, let me get this set up. Get the video. I think this is the one I'm using. Yes, it is. I'll make sure to capture the cursor so you can see my Mario mouse. And then for audio, I'm going to make sure that is the same thing here. What music do you guys want to listen to? Give me a Nintendo, or I guess I can just look up Nintendo music to blank. Let's see. Let me really quick. Let me turn on the kapow. There we go. Alright, just like Nintendo music too. This is how I tend to find a playlist. Dumb Nintendo music, tell me study. Nintendo radio, Enrico Magnifico. This one is actually, I used to listen to this live stream all the time back in the day. Maybe. Bug Fables, that would be good. For spacing out. Yeah. Nintendo upbeat and chill music makes you feel alive in this world. We're getting this one. We're gonna listen to this one. Something tells me we need this today. Audio is not working, so let me make sure that I got the right thing here. There you go. Seems good. Coolio. Alright, so right now I only have 2 websites that I'm going to be covering today, and that is Nintendo Life, my all-time favorite Nintendo news website, and also really good YouTube channel. If you want to check out the YouTube people on Nintendo Life, check them out. And then I also have Nintendo Soup, which I just learned about today because of a very specific story, and we'll talk about that when it happens. But I kind of want to go through the timeline and just kind of discuss the timeline of events that have led us to where we are today. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit more so I can... just so I can hear myself think. There you go. Alright. So, I'm gonna just kind of start from here. This is roughly around the Wednesday that the Switch Direct came out, and we're not gonna go over every story, but specifically if I see something that I'm interested in, I'm gonna narrate it, talk about it as it happens, and we'll hang it out. I don't know what a Nintendo is. Please tell me. It's expensive. Nintendo is expensive now. I'm sorry to say, but hey, how's it going? How's it going? Hope you're doing good. Alright. So we don't... so there's a list of games that actually came out. That's actually... okay, so which Nintendo Switch games aren't fully compatible with Switch 2? I guess that's a good place to start. I actually found Nintendo apparently had a Nintendo Switch 2 not compatible. Nintendo actually has game compatibility with Nintendo Switch 2. They actually, right now, they're actively going through all the different websites and stuff, or they're going through all the games on Switch, and they're seeing what games are working on Switch 2. Nearly all of Switch 1 games work entirely with Switch 2. No issues found, but again, it's made, you know, first party, they have access to their own source code, stuff like that. A decent amount, there's currently still, this is updated as of April 1st. So yeah, they are obviously having a lot of stuff. Very few Nintendo games are not compatible, like full stop. And as of the games they've tested, very few of the games have issues found during startup, and we're going to go into that because they actually have full-on they full on have like they have a full list of games right now that are not available. And out of everything that's going on right now, gotta give Nintendo credit for actually having this data like physically available to people on their own website. Gotta give them credit to that. They have a list of games that are experiencing issues with running on Switch 2. And again, from the source, I love that. I have gathered that Nintendo is a small H nun and has robotic chicken tenders, which are very expensive. Yes, more or less. The only non-working one is Switch VR for obvious reasons. Yeah, and we'll get into that. So the only game that cannot be played on Switch 2 as of now is the VR kit for Nintendo Labo, and that is specifically because the Switch literally can't be inserted into the VR goggles. But all things considered, I don't know if they're going to straight up block access to playing it, but in reality, I think you could get a cut. I'm sure someone, if they are willing enough, they would be able to make a brand new, like, physical, like a plastic, what's the term? They could make their own, like, goggles made for Switch 2 if they don't straight up, like, block access to this game being playable on Switch 2. 3 Joy-Con kits also only kind of work, and that's because of, yeah, it's because they require Nintendo Switch Joy-Con to play. Very specifically, it's just because the Nintendo Labo, the reason these require older Joy-Con is because, I mean, literally, these cardboard things were meant for the original Joy-Con, and the newer Joy-Con are bigger, so it doesn't fit. WarioWare Move It, it doesn't work because you need an IR motion camera, so there's, like, very specific micro games with WarioWare Move It. If you have an old Joy-Con, you can still play it on Switch 2, but if you don't have, like, if you don't have any of the original Joy-Con, one with an IR motion camera at the very least, just some very specific micro games just aren't playable. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't know how many people are actively still playing WarioWare Move It. Unfortunately, that's just, they used a feature that only, like, 5 video games played. So, for Nintendo Switch Sports, Joy-Con 2 controllers do not fit inside the leg strap. Sorry, the fucking Yoshi's Crafted World kazoo. I actually was talking about this with Subby. The the Yoshi's Crafted World OST. I do like the silly kazoo. I do quite like it, actually. I don't know why. I have such a fond memory playing the demo of this soundtrack. But anyways, a kazoo, a recorder aren't the same thing. Oh, is it a recorder? Oh, I guess it's not a... Yeah, that's a recorder, not a kazoo. I think I'm specifically mentioning, in my head, I think I was also confusing... It's kazoo for New Island, isn't it? I think New Island has the shitty kazoo. This is a recorder, though, yeah. Sorry, I think I've offended the children's music community, and for that I apologize. It's still a pain to 100%, yeah, I've heard that. But yeah, Switch Sports. Joy-Con 2 controllers do not fit inside the leg strap accessory, so it's only possible to play the soccer shootout mode using a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con. So this game is still very much playable on Switch 2, it's just the one mode that's specifically tied to free, like, penalty kicking with just the leg strap controller. Like, this is this is featured on the fucking box, and it's only used for one mode. Like, one very ultra-specific niche mode. So, you can still very much play Switch Sports. Game Builder Garage, it's the same thing. Yeah, so if only for Game Builder Garage, if someone made a game that featured the IR motion camera, you can't play it. But again, who the fuck used the IR motion camera? The volume of the Joy-Con 2 controller's force feedback vibrations has been reduced compared to Switch Joy-Con controllers, so it may be more difficult to find hidden Joy-Con 2 in the minigame Joy-Con Hide and Seek. Okay. Are they called Joy-Con? I already forgot that they're called Joy-Cons. I don't know why, but seeing it physically in, like, text, I'm like, that's not a real thing. Joy-Con is the convention held by Mr. Happy. I don't know. Duct tape on leg. Yeah, I mean, honestly. Making my parents wish I was never born because I'm a 6-year-old blowing loudly into a plastic recorder club? How dare you? None of the Yokai Watch Switch games have been said to have any load up issues. That's good for me. It could also be that they haven't looked into it yet, so you never know. So, but hold out hope, because that's good. But yeah, again, this one, it's a very specific feature that only this one niche game used. Also, a lot of people don't even like this game, so not much of a loss there. Again, no motion camera. Again, the IR motion camera, nearly no one used it, and this is what we expected for games that literally cannot be played on the Switch. It's just games on hardware, at least for first-party games just that need it. The biggest shame is Ring Fit, but again, like, this ring is, like, meant to have the, it's meant to be, like, glided into. It doesn't have a magnetic thing. So until Ring Fit, I think there's, no, you need the IR mode. Don't you put your finger, like, on this end, the IR motion sensor, and it reads your pulse? Isn't that a thing? Holy shit, wait. Oh my god, I just realized. You need the IR motion camera to read your pulse near the end of it. I'm sure they don't need that, but it was, like, useful for, like, you know, if you wanted your fitness data. But yeah, I guess, yeah, I hope they do make a modern Ring Fit, because I know a lot of people really enjoyed it. I think I still have my Ring Fit ring. I don't have the leg strap. I know I don't have that. I had Ring Fit for, like, a day, and then I never played it again, but I still think this game's really cool. I hope they make a Ring Fit successor on Switch 2. I hope they do that, because that would be very good. That would be very good. Was ARMS brought up? No. No, ARMS doesn't. Again, games that... It's only games that specifically need the Joy-Con at a specific size for an accessory, or a game that features the IR camera. The only one that's a specific, like, technicality one, yeah, because Joy-Con controllers don't fit inside the leg strap accessory. Oh no! Doesn't have the IR camera. Oh no! Oh, everybody went to Switch. The controller force feedback vibrations aren't as strong. Oh no! Not Horus! Not Horus, no! I don't care. I don't care. All I remember about ARMS was Hair Lady. Yeah. Yeah. Battle for Neighborville on Switch 2 is apparently broken. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. So again, they have an actual official, like, what is this? A spreadsheet, I suppose? Or a chart? A list of games that apparently will not run. They have issues starting up in the first place. Like, these games will not launch on Switch 2. And that could very much mean that a lot of companies need to make new versions of the game or update the games they need to do a sizable update in order to have it be compatible with Switch 2. We're gonna get to it, but apparently it has been confirmed that Switch 2 has such different hardware compared to Switch 1, which is weird to think, but it is such a severe difference that Nintendo Switch 1 games, you put the cartridge in the Switch 2, but it doesn't actually play off of the cartridge, it's actually emulated. Switch 1 games will be emulated on Switch 2, and that could mean that there are some weird emulation issues, specifically with these games. We'll get into the, I don't know specifically how the emulation works on Switch 2, but I know Nintendo Life has an article about it, and we'll talk about it later. Gab, can I show you a really cool game that got revealed for Switch 2 earlier today? Is it the mouse one? Is it the one about mice? Did you guys see that apparently they leaked a game? I don't know if it's coming out or anything, but apparently there is a leak about a game called Lego Civilization. Like, there was going to be a Civ game, but it was going to be completely in Lego. I would unironically play that because Civilization confuses the fuck out of me, and I think that would be perfect for baby brains like me. It's the mouse game. Yeah, we'll talk about that. It's one of the newer articles. I kind of want to do this in terms of, like, when we got the information, because I kind of want to just kind of talk through the, like, timeline of events and just kind of see the news. Welcome to Ninten-DOOMSCROLLIng. You know, I just want to look into this, but yeah, a lot of games. Buenos Blob. I'm trying to just specifically look for the games that kind of, like, okay, this one, Another Crab's Treasure. This was the Crab Souls game by Aggro Crab. And it's kind of bizarre, but I think this shows, I'm sure the Switch version does not run well. And I think there might just be a thing where, because I think a lot of these, and again, it's my guess, I have no fucking clue, and I'm not going to ever claim that I have any idea on why these are happening, but something tells me they had to make these games they had to make these games with such jumbled kind of code that when it's actually given the ability to have access to a lot more RAM and CPU, they just don't know what to do with it, and they divide by 0 and they just flat out don't work. I don't know. I think that game is cool, yeah, but I wouldn't play it on Switch 1. I've heard a lot of people are like, you could play it on another console. I do want to try it out, though. Yeah, no, you're good, sub. No worries whatsoever. Ring Fit 2 would have to have a different shape instead of a ring, so it'd be called Cylinder Exercise Quest. Come on, man. Don't have all the good ideas. You gotta save some for yourself, man. A lot of arcade classics. That's kind of weird. But apparently it might have something to do with this specific, developer or this different publisher. Maybe this guy just doesn't... He didn't make a game that has just like a lethal line of code that for some reason just bricks it on Switch 2. Because like Burger Time, Dig Dug, Gradius, like it's Pac-Land. How do these games have issues running on Switch 2? Is it because it is being it's an emulator running on an emulator? Is there just like some sort of Ouroboros-ing imploding effect on it? I don't know. I don't know. Batman the Enemy Within. I'm trying to see specifically, there were some games that I saw that were kind of bizarre. Dead by Daylight, Doom Eternal. I know that's been a very popular one. Yeah, that's a shame. Doom, but granted, again, the Doom Eternal port was like not that good. I heard it ran terribly on the Switch. But again, it's like fucking Doom Eternal running on a Switch 1. So that specific port kind of crashing in general was to be expected, but then it also having to be emulated and running on a Switch 2. Yeah, it's fair. I'm trying to see. I don't know if there's any that specifically, mess with me too much. Just Final Fantasy. Is it okay? So like, fitness boxing. Wait, that's the only Nintendo game that. Wait. Huh. See, okay. So Final Fantasy by Square Enix. I don't know if this means like the Final Fantasy games that have come out, because we got like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy, like 1, 2, 3, the pixel remasters, doesn't specify. And also, like, I don't think the original Final Fantasy was released on its own, so I think it was... They're not being specific, so I think it's specifically the Final Fantasy games, for some reason, just don't work on Switch. Am I stupid? Did Final Fantasy get a Fortnite for Nintendo Switch 2? Yeah, there is a version. I know it's not related, but there's a game. I have a game you should play next stream. It's called Stacklands, if you're interested. It's a PC game. I might look into it, but yeah, no, I'm just gonna focus on this. Yeah, Final Fantasy. I don't get if this is like, because they never released the one like original game on its own. I don't remember. I know Dragon Quest released its original games on their own, but Final Fantasy, I think like the only time they did that was for the later games, like 7 and 8. So I don't know. So I don't know. I think this might just be that some Final Fantasy games, and same thing with fitness boxing. I think this is the only Nintendo-made game that is on this list. Fitness boxing. So does that mean because all the fitness boxing games would run on the same, like, core engine, right? So, you know, like Fist of the North Star, fitness boxings 1 through 11, the Hatsune Miku fitness boxing, stuff like that. It's just like, well, I don't know. Fortnite. I mean, that just ran terribly on Switch, so not surprising. Gang Beasts, that's a shame. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, a true shame, that is. Classic Games Collection, again, another game that is just a collection of games run on an emulator that would then be run by another emulator. It's weird. So there's like a lot of games, but they are showing that they are like trying their best to work with games and trying to get them to work. There's one that's... oh yeah, Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower doesn't work on Switch 2 yet. That's wild. Or at least the Switch 1 version of Pizza Tower doesn't work on Switch 2. But like, I don't know. It's kind of bizarre Pizza Tower doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't boot. I wonder. It's weird. And then, like Subby said, Battle for Neighborville. River City Girls 0, specifically 0. Like 1 or 2 don't have any issues, apparently. Rocket League, and I don't truly know if there's a real reason. South Park: The Fractured But Whole on Switch. This is how I played the game on Switch. This game does not run well. at all. Oh, one thing I did want to do, because I realized my microphone was getting, like, actually, like, way louder than I wanted it to. Just turn it down by 2. There we go. I need to turn down my microphone just a little bit, because I could tell I was peaking like fucking crazy. But yeah. Okay. Not Pizza Tower. Yeah. So, South Park The Fractured Butthole has, like, a specific... I know for a fact this game ran so bad. It was specifically... And this is going to sound so weird out of context, but it's South Park, so that's, like, the whole point. There was a boss fight in South Park The Fractured Butthole where you fight a ginger. And that's, like, the whole boss fight is, like, the rise of the gingers. And I remember that specifically was, like, so... The loading of the boss fight, every fight had, like, a loading screen, specifically the boss fights as well. And I could not load it. It just, like, I got soft-locked out of the ginger fight for, like, 3 separate occasions until it finally, like, loaded correctly. So it doesn't surprise me, like, further emulation of that would then lead to some issues. And I think that is, for the most part, again, I'm not computer, you know, I'm not a fucking computer. I don't know truly why this is happening. But it could also, like, show further that, like, the Switch 1 ran games so inefficiently and so kind of that trying to get them to then have these, like, inferior versions run on newer hardware is proving to be somewhat difficult. But again, they don't have access to, like, the source code of all these games like they do with Switch 1. Like, again, outside of fitness boxing, like, no other Nintendo game, first-party Nintendo game, is on this list. So it could also just be, for some reason, there's just, like, a weird line of code that is just stopping so many of these Switch 1 versions to not work on Switch 2. Yeah, Battle for Neighborville was fine. I know my brother was a huge fan of PvZ, and he played Battle for Neighborville a decent amount, but he was always just like, yeah, I'm just gonna play Garden Warfare 2, because he was an Xbox guy. That was always his thing. The Cube, Jackbox Party Pack 1 and 2, specifically. That's weird. Were they just better at, like, optimizing the party packs, like 3 onward? Because I would think if they were testing the party packs, they would test them all together. And would that mean 3 onward have been tested and they work just fine? Or, I don't know. No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again. Oh god, Skullvolver is in shambles right now. Tricky Towers is like, isn't that the Tetris kind of game? Where you build a little tower, it's like Tetris. I hear that game's fun. Trip World, oh that's a shame, that's also a cool one. Yeah, there's just a bunch of them, but, like, all of this to say, yeah, Warframe. Again, like, a lot of really big, like, live action games, or live service games, like Rocket League, Fortnite, Warframe, a lot of those just don't seem to work. Specifically, I know there's one, it's, where is it? If we go back here, games that are playable but have some in-game compatibility issues. If we go in here, was that actually, wait, was that the one I was looking at? No. Why did it start at the bottom? That's weird. But specifically the one I want to find... I gotta sneeze. Here it is. Excuse me. Want to, like, highlight is this one. Hitman 3 cloud version. For some reason, like, this is the only time a cloud version of a game is not running on Switch 2, and that's weird. I see that my bitrate has collapsed. We will wait. Thank you. I sneezed and my bitrate went down to 0. That's a shame. Anyways, again, I don't know. Wi-Fi being Wi-Fi. That's the best I can do. I'm ready for my Wi-Fi plan to just be jacked up because of Orange Man. I'm so excited for Orange Man to increase my my internet prices because everything's going to be expensive now, and he thinks this is going to help people. But all it's doing is just making people hate him more. So if anything, he should keep it up so people actually can stop pretending that Orange Man good. Because fuck Orange Man. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, weird. Hitman 3 cloud version. It runs, but for some reason there are some issues with it. Probably this right here, if I had to guess. But it's the only cloud version that is showing issues, which is weird. Specifically Just Dance 2019. There's just a lot of them. You can look into this list, but Nintendo has been updating, or is officially going to update people on what is going to be a what is going to, like, what will be available and what won't be available. The best thing I can think of is that there's just a weird line of code, but also some games that were made specifically for Switch 1 for some reason just have like a weird lethal line of code that just makes Switch 2 running it just I don't know, like just dead. But okay, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, this is a launch day. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. This is a like definitive version. It's going to be exclusive for like a few months. I don't know if they did they. I know this is a timed exclusive. Do they talk about it here? Maybe not. Sega's Yakuza 0 is getting a shoutouts to Damian McFerrin for this article. Sega's Yakuza 0 is getting a special director's cut on Switch 2. It has been confirmed. Described as the definitive edition of the critically acclaimed origin story, will feature new content for this edition, packing never before seen cutscenes, a red light raid online 4-player mode with up to 60 unlockable. What the fuck? French, Italian, German, and Spanish text, and an English voiceover. The game will launch alongside the new console on June 5th. I was going to say, originally released, Yakuza 0 set in 1988, it would later come to Xbox One. Are they... Talking about their PlayStation website. This does not talk about... From what I've heard, this is going to be a... This is a timed exclusive. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I've seen people say that this was a timed exclusive, which is good. I do think a remake, or like a director's cut of a famous version of a Yakuza game, I don't think that should be locked to Switch 1, especially like with PlayStation, you know, being pretty popular, and that's how I like playing Yakuza. Okay. This is something that has been kind of interesting, and there's an interesting reason why. This is an article written by Gavin Lane. Shoutouts to Gavin. Nintendo is kind of returning to region locking with a cheaper Japanese Switch 2. So for those who don't know, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but yeah, it's more or less because the Japanese yen is currently very weak right now. Nintendo is doing Japanese exclusive Switch 2s that are cheaper, and we're going to learn more about what that's all about. After the Switch 2 Direct wrapped up, Nintendo put out a press release announcing its pricing in different regions, including Japan. However, it appears that Japanese gamers will have an extra cheaper option if they're happy to have a Japanese language-only Switch 2. The Japanese language system is priced at 49,980 yen, approximately 333.87 USD at the time of writing, versus 69,980 yen, which is closer to 467 USD, for the multi-language equivalent, which will only be... which will only be available from the Japanese My Nintendo store. The base system will retail for $449 in the US. Let's hope it stays that way. Fuck that I have to say that, but let's hope it stays that way. Orange man. But yes, only be available in the Japanese My Nintendo store. So this cheaper version of the Switch, that will be specifically for the Japanese audience because the yen is cheaper, or the yen is weaker, it's only available digitally. And I think that's just to further halt potential scalpers that are going to try to upcharge these games without... They're probably going to be like, hey, guys, we got a Switch 2 for like $400, and it's cheaper. And the scalpers are going to be like, oh, look at this cheap Switch. And they don't clarify that it's the Japanese-only one. I think this is their way of kind of circumventing it, and I think we'll maybe see it later. But yeah, Nintendo has taken a lot of pretty cool... like kind of ways and variable and kind of like rules set in place for like digital pre-orders in order to like stop scalpers. It's pretty cool. Of course, there's going to be some outliers with that, but still. Why the different tiers and prices? The option has presumably been made available as a reaction to the weak yen, which makes Switch 2's launch price even harder to swallow on Nintendo's home turf than elsewhere. Yeah, so yeah, this launch price is just really rough, especially in Japan because their yen is weak and, you know, gotta bat for the home court. I don't blame them. The ability to play games from any region on any Switch 2 around the world makes importing a Japanese console very financially attractive for people living outside the country, so language locking this cheaper version aimed specifically at the Japanese market will dissuade people who don't speak or understand Japanese from importing the cheaper model. Here's the text as per Nintendo's Japanese website. The Japanese language system, Japan only, is designed for use in Japan only. Only Japanese is available as the system language, and only Nintendo accounts with the country/region set to Japan can be linked to this system. So again, another way for that console to specifically get made for this situation. US tariffs have been a hot topic recently too, so Nintendo is having to get creative with its Switch 2 pricing strategy. Additionally, the website says that there will be a lottery system in place in Japan for anybody wanting to buy a Switch 2 at launch, which is fairly standard practice for the country when it comes to hot-ticket gaming hardware. More details on the lottery system will be announced on 4th of April, while Nintendo has an invite system in place for the West for anyone looking to pre-order for the platform holder itself, although there is a certain criteria to qualify. To kind of further go in on this, this also, this was talked about before the delay, which we'll definitely see as time goes on as we go through these little articles. Is it? I remembered what the shortcut was. Look at me. I've played computers. Enter the Gungeon 2 announced for Switch 2, and it's got some new twists. Fun fact, if you didn't see this trailer, you missed it when the trailer froze. It specifically skipped over the Gungeon 2, but it looks really good. It actually looks really good. We'll just give a quick look through at it. It looks really cool. Like just particle effects out the wazoo. Like this just looks really cool. A fully 3D Gungeon game. Just look at all the particles. That's just full-on Astrobot levels of particles. And again, if the Switch 2 can run, if the Switch 2 can run this really well, fuck yeah, this game is going to be super popular. I know a lot of people are going to be super happy for that. Hades 2's announced. Check out Donkey Kong Bonanza's beautiful Switch 2 box art. The thick red line. The red line. Unpopular opinion, chat, but I do quite I'm starting to like this. I liked the red case and I like the red cartridge. It's getting to a point where I'm getting used the Stockholm syndrome. The Stockholm syndrome is kicking in, and I'm starting to enjoy the ugly banner. It's an ugly banner, but I think it stands out. I don't know. I want the boxes to be smaller. I just want the boxes to be smaller. That's my only complaint. I just want a smaller box. But I'm buying this one so bad. Daemon X Machina 2, which is really cool. Again, I thought this game was like really poorly received, so the fact that they're just like, fuck yeah, we're gonna do more. We want to, it's like the Cyberpunk DLC where it's like, hey, we want to make this game good. And I'm like, you know what, fuck yeah. Breaking news, Switch 2 games cost a bit more than you're probably expecting. I want to see if they clarified or if they fixed the Okay, cool. They actually did. Okay. It's official that Nintendo Switch 2 is launching on 5th of June 2025 at a retail price of $449. But now, how much do the actual games cost? Well, it's a bit complicated. Shoutouts to Ollie Reynolds, who wrote I think it's Ollie. It might be PJ. One of them wrote the Mario and Luigi Brothers ship review on Nintendo Life, and it was a really good review, and I liked it. Was very well written. That is all. Not really, but it ain't simple. As reported by VGC, Mario Kart World will cost $80 physically, but it will actually be cheaper if you opt for a digital copy. We don't have the US price at the time, but a digital copy in the UK will set you back $66.99, which I'm assuming is closer to, that would be $60, oh wait, that would be probably $70 in US currency, would be my best guess, is that it'll be $80 physically, $70 digitally. Still, $80 physical is fucking stupid, but actually we got a very recent, there was actually a very recent interview that we will go into, because apparently Bill Trinan and Doug Bowser have talked about the pricing of the game itself, like Mario Kart World, and they're talking about variable pricing, so we're not doing a set price anymore for games. It's going to be based off of how they feel it's actually worth. But we'll actually also go into some retailers, at least in the EU, are like, hey, if this is just the recommended price, MSRP, market share, like, I think it's something recommended pricing. It's market something recommended pricing. I think the S does stand for something. I'm pretty sure. Recommended pricing, a lot of stores are like, okay, well, that's what you recommend, but we're not going to do that because we actually want to sell copies. And we'll talk about that in a bit. 80 digital is so fine. Yeah, that's the best you can say about that, is like, I guess that's fine. It's not really good. It's still not good. Still not good. Bonanza will be $60 digitally, which I think has been somewhat confirmed. It's going to be $70 physically, and at least if the lower cost digital plan is also in effect for Donkey Kong could be a $60 video game if you buy it digitally. So that's something, I guess. I don't know. It still sucks. It still sucks. Box art's packed with beautiful details. Switch 2 guide, ultimate resource. Nah. We're good. All right. Nintendo Switch 2 game key cards somehow managed to make codes in a box worse. Big shoutouts again to Gavin for the amazing article. Let's begin. We didn't spot this in the Switch 2 Direct, although frankly there was so much packed in there we might have missed it. But Nintendo's website, that is loud. Damn you. Anyways, sorry that caught me off guard. It scared the shit out of me. Nintendo's website has a small section and an FAQ live detailing a new purchase option for some physical games on Switch 2. They're called game key cards, but don't get too excited. From what we can gather, they're essentially codes in a box, although that means that Nintendo has managed to make even those a little bit worse for lovers of physical games. I'm gonna pick a new... This is not a well-made playlist, because there's no volume control. They don't... This one's pretty good. I like this one a lot. It's a really good one. Because actually everything is at a consistent volume. I keep going to this one. Anyways. I'm curious about it. Is how well Scarlet and Violet will run on Switch 2. Apparently it has been confirmed that there will be a free Switch 2 upgrade. Because I guess they just don't plan on adding more content to it. So they're not trying to justify an extra increase in price. Which is good. I do like that. That is it's a neato burrito. And also I think people realized no one would pay even more money to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which more power to them. They're called game key cards. Okay, wait. According to the description, game key cards will unlock a download of the game when you insert the cart, which looks like a standard Switch 2 cartridge, and connect to the internet. However, as per the title, the card itself is merely a key and doesn't hold the game data. At least not the full game data. Yet it must be inserted in the Switch 2 card slot if you want to play the digital game, the worst of all words. And then yeah, they quote the website. Some physical games are available as a key card. Insert a game key card to download the full game as your system, and then play the game by starting it like a standard physical game card. Game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, the game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card into your system and starting it up like a standard physical game card. Please note, to download the game, you must have enough free space on your Switch system. So yeah. And then yeah, so this is what I didn't mean to do that, but this works. So this is what Switch 2 games that will have game key cards will look like, blatantly telling you, hey, this is a digital download, but this is a game that you still have to have like so if you buy this version of the game, you still need to insert it into your system like a cartridge, but all that does is like a key. You just have to, it uses it to unlock the game to be played on your system. Gonna be fully honest, just buy it digitally. Just go digital. There's no reason to buy this. This specifically is just, hey, we really felt like wasting plastic today. I still think this is stupid. But the thing is, a lot of people were concerned about this and thought that this was new. Let's pull up a example, LA Noir Switch 2 or Switch box. Just to show what it looked like. There it is. There it is. There's the mark of the devil. Here we go. So image new tab. So this is what it looked like on for LA Noir. LA Noir had the exact same thing where it had the dreaded internet download required, micro SD card may be required. That you would literally see this shit at like Best Buy or what the fuck, other places. Ha ha ha. I hate this way to make us go all digital. Yeah. I mean, again, can we go over the insane Mario Kart World cast that we've seen so far later? We will. Trust me, we will, because I've been talking to other people about it so much. So we will. No worries. Let's see. Yeah, and yeah, just basically, this is not a new thing that Nintendo has done, and also this is not a new thing the game industry has done. Nintendo is different because they're actually telling you they're just telling you how it is. It's not good that this is how it is. I'm never gonna claim that. But to be fully honest, it is nice that at the very bare minimum, Nintendo's actually being honest with you about what you're downloading. Like most PlayStation discs have no data on it and works basically like this game key card. Like, this is how physical games for practically any other game company has been at this point, is that, hey, like, the disc is just so it's basically, yeah, that's like your ID, that's your badge. That's like, hey, you go to, let's like, imagine the game's like a nightclub, and you want to go into the nightclub, and the bouncer's like, hey, can I get your ID before you go into the club? This is the ID. This has now become a ticket to enter the ride, and without the ticket, you can't ride the ride, but you still have access to the ride. You'll be able to see the ride at the amusement park, but until you have the ticket in your hand, you can't do the ride. And so it's a very specific, weird thing. But again, this still sucks. I'm not going to say that this is a good thing, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having a physical game. I think it literally is just for those that want to have something on their shelf, but don't want the actual benefits of physical media outside of it look on shelf, which is stupid. And from what we can see, and I think they'll talk about it later, basically Nintendo first party, this is just something, as far as we know, for now, this is only gonna be used for third-party games, which it's been like this, again, with LA Noire. That's just the system. That's how it's been. This is not new. I'm sorry. But again, it's like this. It's dumb, yes. But again, this is just for third-party publishers that don't want to just buy a cartridge and put data on it and spend money on that. I think this is just a way for Nintendo to secure more third-party, like, things on their shelf, and specifically on your shelf. But yeah. I think they literally are only doing this for third parties. And again, this is, if third parties want to do it like Cyberpunk, everything's going to be on the cartridge. Cyberpunk put the entire fucking game on a Switch cartridge, and it is physical, all in there, no digital download. It's just in there, as far as I know. And so, you know, that's really cool. But, yeah. There was a lot of outrage about this, and there are still people that are now treating it like it's a new thing. It's not. Literally, there is a Scott the Woz here, wait. Scott the Woz digital. Oh, digital download, yeah. Scott the Woz digital circus. He literally made a full video on this. So for those that are like, oh my god, what do you mean? What do you mean, Nintendo? What the fuck? And it's like, yeah. Like, again, like the Xbox version of Cuphead was just a download. Batman, like, you know, most games. It's like, this is not new. Literally, Scott the Woz made a video on it 3 years ago. It's not new. Like, you're justified in being mad, but don't think that Nintendo is like a demon for doing this now. It's been doing this. I'm gonna be honest, this is not a... The complaint should not be that Nintendo is bad for doing this now, because literally every game company has done it already, and again, this is a third-party thing. It does seem for now that Nintendo is still committing to physical media for their first-party games, but again, we don't know. It's literally fucking anything can happen, and so I'm not trying to... Oh yeah. Free performance upgrade on Switch 2. Beautiful. Does it talk about the other games? Yeah, so other games that are gonna get performance boosts on there, courtesy of the lovely Ollie Reynolds. ARMS, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Clubhouse Games, Legend of Zelda. Hey, shoutouts to Scott the Woz again. Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom. These I am excited for, because Link's Awakening I loved. I barely remember the frame dip issues, but Echoes of Wisdom, the biggest fucking complaint about Echoes of Wisdom was the performance. So I am very excited to see how this will run on Switch 2, and that might actually get me to buy it. Game Builder Garage is getting an update, which is fucking awesome. I'm happy that they're still committing to this game. Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Big Brain Academy, a lot of Mario. A lot of Mario is getting free updates, which is awesome as a Mario fan. But yeah, and then yeah, a lot of these will be, so these are all free updates. Again, they're just gonna unlock higher resolutions, unlock higher frame rates. Basically, they're just putting a code in the games that are just like, hey, the system that you are being played on actually will give you access to more resources, so now we are giving you access to these bigger features, so use them. Look pretty. And yeah, it still feels a little... Nah, it seems fine. So, next up, the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. This is just a Pro Controller. Let me actually look at this from the perspective of my Pro Controller. I think the buttons are the same size. All the media made it look like... I think the buttons are like... No, I think the buttons are the same size. There's just a C button. There's the online subscription button on the bottom. Yeah, they really just... It's really just a Pro Controller, huh? Yeah, I'm holding my Pro Controller in my hands. The good news is, they're not gonna, for some reason... Like, if you have a Switch 1 Pro Controller, you can just use that, which is fucking awesome. Thank God. PJ O'Reilly, it is. This is the guy that did the Brothership review. I remember you. PJ's chill as fuck. Yeah, so this is just a Pro Controller with the C button, and then there's also programmable back buttons. If you've seen from, if you've seen, like, any, like, Steam Deck specifically, they have, like, programmable, like, back paddles that you can use and you can assign to different buttons. And there's actually something interesting, again, from the recent interviews that we've gotten that, talk about some cool features. Again, I'm gonna have to figure out where to find those. But that's fine. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I just held up my Pro Controller next to my screen and went, bro, that's the same damn thing. Well, again, I don't know, like, what do you do to fix it? From what I've heard, the D-pad is actually going to be bigger. And again, I don't know. Again, this is a blown-up picture. I don't know if it's... Again, I don't know if it is. It might be bigger. Might be, but yeah, programmable rear buttons, C button, prestige look, smooth gliding sticks. Yeah, and then the price is 80 bucks? At least, okay. Yeah, 80 bucks. It should be noted that this will probably also balloon in price with the tariffs, so do not be surprised if this costs even more. And again, fuck Orange Man. That is not Nintendo's fault. It is wild that a lot of people are, like, doing the tariff thing, and it's like, they're still like, the Nintendo bad. No, the base price, well, actually, there's actually something that we'll hear from today's news about all the Nintendo shit that's been going down. There has been... It's been such a fun news week, but it's fine. Let's see, Switch 2 Direct, very nearly called Super Nintendo Switch. Interesting. Apparently, they were going to call it the Super Switch. That's crazy. Uh-oh, Switch 2's home screen looks just as bland as we feared. Yeah, here, let's just show that. It's gonna be compressed, but, you know. More or less, this is what this is a terrible image. What the fuck? This is ripped straight from the Nintendo website. That's awesome. Yeah, so this is kind of what the Switch looked like. It just has very small splashes of color in terms of... Oh! Mario jump scare! Boo! Boo! Hey, you got games on your phone? Anyways, as you can see... stop it, Mario. The home screen things are, like, rounded, which I like. I think that looks way better. There's more buttons, and it seems when you hover over something, there's, like, a color gradient. And I think that looks good. At least there's, like, any minute form of color. That's all I need. I hope they do that. Themes? Please, please, themes, please. Clicks image to enlarge, image shrinks, yeah. Reveal big eShop improvements on Switch 2. I think we've talked about this, or I think there's been some basic things. Let's just read it. By Jim Norman. Shoutouts to Jim. As of today's Nintendo Switch 2 wasn't enough of an info dump, Nintendo has published a series of Ask the Developer interviews so we can get more details on the upcoming console. In Chapter 4 of the discussion with Koichi Kawamoto, Takahiro Dota, and Tetsuya Sasaki, the chat moves on to the sorted issue of the eShop, something we're all hoping to see a much-needed spruce up. Let's see. Is this actually here? Wait, one second. Boo. I wanted to show off a thing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, much-needed improvements that we are totally getting, guys. We're totally gonna get the improvements, guys. It's gonna happen. Chapter 4, much-needed spruce up, and specifically the improvements that have been implemented on Switch 2. Thanks to the console's performance capabilities, Nintendo eShop on Switch 2 has been improved and runs smoothly, even when displaying a large number of games. How innovative! Oh my god. It's real. It's happened. Oh my god. Something that should have happened in the first place for the past 8 years. It's happening now. Yeah, I hate the eShop. I hate the eShop. It's boring. It's a shame that Nintendo's kind of going back to boring. Like, it sucks. And it sucks that we're not really getting anything better with Switch 2. Again, it just feels very bland and corporate, which I don't like, but nah. Oh well. The only technical elements that we're seeing an improvement, the storefront will get a For You section, which lets you quickly see screenshots and watch introduction videos for games. The hope with this new section is that you'll be able to easily find something interesting without having to search every nook and cranny of Nintendo eShop. I think if this For You section works, this is what it's going to kind of look like. Hey there, Sarah. Looking to find some games? We've got recommendations. If that actually turns out to be something interesting, you know, go them, I suppose. I don't think this is gonna work with indies. I bet you for a fucking fact you are not gonna find a single indie game that is remotely niche. I don't think you're gonna find a niche indie game on this section at all. I think it's gonna be popular indies that have a trailer on Nintendo YouTube. Like, it's not gonna be anything you did not know about before. I highly doubt that this is actually going to work as their advertising. Thick mist tagging. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Also, yeah, that's gonna be awesome. They couldn't even do Xbox 360 background themes. Like, just even a fucking static, a hum, a tinnitus, or something, you know, like a ringing in my ears, something. I would take anything at this point. How's an open world racing game gonna even work? You'll have to wait for the direct. But also, an open world racing game, you drive, and you drive. Literally, there's a game called Forza Horizon. Look it up, because that's literally that's what that is. I do think if this works, it'll be really cool. But again, these little showcases of images do not. Also, this is literally just the eShop. If it runs good, then fine. But like, this just feels like something that should have been on Switch 1, and it just feels like there's just no noticeable improvements at all. You know? Silk Song might be a Switch 2 exclusive. It can't. It literally can't because they advertised it on Xbox. There's no way. I highly doubt that. Timed exclusive? Maybe, but I don't see that happening. Like with Deltarune, I see it maybe coming out on a specific day for like they're gonna advertise it on Switch 2 more than anything, but it will be out. Like Steam, there's no way it doesn't come out on Steam as well as Switch. That would be the worst. Like, no one would like that. No one would like that. Drive to the end and that's how you win. Just go around. You just explore. Going to Sasaki, all of this is aid of improving the player's experience on the storefront, something that should have happened in the first place. The team apparently started by making the console attractive making the console attractive to as many players as possible. Hey, fun fact, you know what would make the console and the games as attractive to as many players as possible? Remotely affordable prices. Fun fact. Fun fact, guys. A high price... They think that a more expensive price tag makes you guys want it more. It's so expensive. That makes me want it more. That works. That's what that is. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. Switch 2 Mario Kart World Bundle will be a limited time offer. Hey, look, we're being generous, guys. Look, we think it's a fucking steal, and dude, the fucking FOMO that this is going to instill in so many fucking people. Again, I understand that they're basically, like, then what's the point of selling it at $80 if you're just forever going to sell it at $50 with the Switch 2? Like, I kind of understand that from a business sense. Still fucking sucks, though. I mean, yeah, honestly, like, this makes sense from a business understanding, because literally, then what's the point of having the game at $80, except for getting you to buy the bundle? But then, yeah, that's kind of weird. Nintendo's wanting to get rid of emulators, but then makes official emulators. I mean, yeah. But here's the thing, they own the rights to the things they're emulating. That's their logic. I'm not saying it's good logic, but in their mind, they're using the emulators for the stuff they legally own. That's how they can justify it. I think emulation is good, period. I think it should be used everywhere and for everything. Nintendo? No. But that's how they justify it. Let's see. Sega announces 5 titles for Switch 2's launch window. What? Wait, I didn't know this. Oh, I guess these are it. Damn. You really... damn, spoilers. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Cool. Raidou Remastered, which we already knew about. I guess we knew about that from the past, the earlier Direct. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, which is just Puyo Puyo Tetris for the Switch 2. Again, just, I mean, this is going to sell pretty decently. Puyo Puyo Tetris is fun. I play the Tetris one because it's the only one I can understand. Sonic and Shadow Generations, I want to see how this runs on Switch 2. I have not bought Sonic X Shadow Generations. I want to see how this game runs on Switch 2. I'm genuinely curious, and I might actually buy it on Switch 2. Because, like, my biggest thing with, I'm not gonna lie, I just didn't. It was in a launch window. It was in the same launch window as Brothership, and I didn't buy it at the time because it was Brothership, and I had to focus on Brothership. But I would actually be. I'm more interested in this running on my Switch 2 than it is on that. I have Puyo Puyo Tetris wishlisted on Steam. I've never played them. Only saw Bignot play it. That's if you have a Switch, you can get the demo for Puyo Puyo Tetris, and it works. Like. Realistically, you just need the demo. Because the demo of Puyo Puyo Tetris is a match of Puyo Puyo Tetris. And then the demo's like, oh, you should buy the game now. All you have to say is no, and then you play another round of Puyo Puyo Tetris. So if you just have a Switch, just download your demo. That's true. You will have to pay... KiRBiZoiD is an $80 experience. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that KiRBiZoiD is worth the $80 tickets. YouTube already gives me your credit card infos, chat, when you click onto the stream. So actually, you will be charged for the KiRBiZoiD Online expansion pass, and then also for the $80 just to even look at my face. So yeah, so congratulations, chat. You've given me your money, and I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. You know, it's great. 2 Point Museum we knew about. I want to play a 2 Point game. These games look so fucking fun. There's 2 Point Campus, 2 Point Museum, and now there's 2 Point Hospital, right? That was the first one? So that's cool. I'm happy that they keep giving the 2 Point games, because that's like the most Wallace and Gromit management sim anything. I love that. Yeah, sorry guys. That's why you can't afford the Switch 2, is because you're making sure that I can afford a Switch 2, and I appreciate that. Also, chat, Super Chat's available in memberships if you want to see me even fucking afford the Switch 2. It's fun. Switch 2 support to be made available soon in Unity Game Engine. That's cool. Neato Burrito. Oops, Yoshi's Woolly World featured in Switch 2's compatible Switch games. Yeah, so basically it got leaked that Yoshi and Poochie's Woolly World there will be a new 4K port for Switch 2. I am so excited because I never got to finish this game. I never got to beat it. So I'm very excited. Unity sucks. Can I do one $80 dono, or do I need to just be a member? The more money you give to me, the better. That's totally going to be clipped out of context. Seriously though, if people somehow... No, I'm not even. That's not even... No, I'm not even making that joke. By Liam Doolin. Nintendo Switch 2 Direct highlighted all sorts of new and exciting titles, but one of the more interesting discoveries in the North American broadcast was artwork for what appears to be Yoshi's Woolly World, officially known as Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World on the 3DS, and the compatible Nintendo Switch titles. What's odd here is the 3DS version of the game isn't actually available on the Nintendo Switch. The Switch only plays host... Wait, yeah, they're fucking Brits. The Switch only plays host to Yoshi's Crafted World, and it's apparently this particular game that was featured in the Japanese and European broadcast. Okay, so this was only the Japanese and European broadcast. Shout out to Ant Dude. Why is Yoshi's Woolly World here? It's... Oh, whoa. Japanese version shows Crafted World. Wow. Oh, this is only in the North American one. Or no, a lot of people were watching this in Europe. I think that's why this was showing up. And it's a specific, like, square box. That's wild. Yeah. This is a, someone looked at this image as well. This is a brand new version of this logo, or of this, like, specific box cover. Because it has not been on this, like, square that both the Shy Guy and the Poochie Pop right here. Here, wait. No. No. I want to, no. I want to show it. No. I can't show it, but you believe in me, right, chat? Right, chat? So this specifically, this, like, fuck off. This Poochie Pop and the Shy Guy apparently are, these guys have not been this close together in a box art before. So basically they leaked that we're gonna get a Yoshi's Woolly World port, and I'm not gonna lie, I would buy that. I would buy that because that game would look so fucking pretty on Switch 2. I would. Kinda off topic, but should I start doing attempts of Pantheon 4? I don't know what that is, but do it, you won't. Should I save up for Switch 2 or donate to Kirb? Save up for it, well... I am not going to say anything about that because then people will be like, Kirb, what the fuck? I can't believe you'd abuse your chat like that. Switch 2 Edition game upgrade pack price is seemingly revealed. It actually got revealed today officially. The upgrades for Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild both will be $10, which does mean, and I wonder if this also like put into effect what's going on here. So if that was the case, if these upgrade packs are $10, then that would mean hypothetically, at least in terms of physical, Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, if it comes boxed in a store with the upgrade pack, this is going to now be $70, and then Tears of the Kingdom will now be $80, because it's $70 game plus $10 expansion, or Switch, upgrade, and then $60 plus upgrade. I wonder what these prices are going to be officially on store shelves, but we have officially found out today, we'll see that yes, it has been confirmed that these upgrades are only going to be $10, and I think the Kirby one is going to be $20 because Kirby is $80. Did it get confirmed that Kirby was $80? Someone put Subby Space on the line. They'll know. But can you play Silk Song? Can you play Silk Song on Switch 2? Maybe. I don't know. I'm excited for Kirby. I am too. I think I'll buy that expansion. I might play it again. I might play it all over again, 3rd time in a row. Nintendo is hosting another Direct for Mario Kart, which we will, I'll see if we watch it. Depends on if I get... Wait, when is that? When is that, actually? There's a Direct for this, yeah. There's a Mario Kart World Direct. When is that supposed to happen? 17th of April? Okay, so wait, that's on a Thursday? Isn't that on a Thursday? Let's have Siri tell us. What day of the week is 17th of April, 2025? Thursday. Okay, well, it didn't say it, because Siri's a pussy. I'm sorry, Siri, I didn't mean that. But yeah, Thursday. Okay, so it's in the morning. It's in the morning. I'm actually, okay, chat, I'm gonna be honest, spoiler alert, I am way more excited for this game than I thought I would. One, because it looks fucking awesome. Two, the characters look fucking awesome. Everything looks really good with this. There are some cursed fucking character costumes that have been, like, revealed through the event, and we will get to those. We'll get to those. Yeah, wild. Wild, dude. But yeah, this game looks really cool. I don't know if I'll actually watch it because I know, okay, if we don't watch it on Thursday, we'll watch it on Friday. The thing is, I'm actually going to be dog sitting on both of these days. On the 17th and the 18th, I'm going to be doing some dog sitting for my grandparents, and so don't know for sure if I'll actually have the time for that. Purely depends on if they give me the morning off of work. If I don't work that day, maybe. But if not, I'll watch it over again on stream the next day. So we will show it. Show him Wario. Reed, no fucking spoilers. No spoilers, Reed. Reed got the raw emotion of me finding out a specific Wario skin, and it is, you know, I guess emphasis on skin, unfortunately. Emphasis on skin. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is gonna be fully on the cartridge. That is based CD Projekt Red. Based CD Projekt Red. Chat, do I spend $1 million bajillion dollars on Cyberpunk? Is that what I do? Do I do that? I don't know. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour price has been confirmed. It is $10. What? Did they actually update this? Yeah, no, they don't. Okay, yeah. So basically, yeah. No, it's $10. This is, yeah. Nintendo confirms US price for Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Yeah, it's 990 yen, which is closer to $6 in US currency if it converts straight to the US. But again, because the yen is weaker, chances are Japanese prices are going to get like way cheaper. And yeah, so yeah, in the US, Welcome Tour is $10. So genuinely, no one buy this. Do not buy this game. I am dead ass with you. Do not buy this game. Do not. Unless they make a miraculous decision to make this free, do not buy this. This is not worth your money. Why can you pre-order this on Amazon? Why can you pre-order? Is that real? Oh, wait. I am very fortunate that my IP address does not actually equate to my real life location, because that totally could have like remotely doxed me. 1 second, I need to actually check this. 1 second. Yeah, it does. That is not my address. That is not where I live. Nice try, suckers. I don't live in Detroit. Yeah, no, my IP's weird. Apparently my Wi-Fi has adaptive IP address. So my IP address doesn't even remotely, like, show where I live in real life. Think of it as a built-in VPN. But yeah, thank fucking God. Yeah, don't buy this. Don't fucking buy this. This is not worth $10. It is worth, at most, $1. At most, it is worth $1. There's no fucking way you will catch me dead buying this full price. That is fucking stupid. Feature, don't let Nintendo ruin the entire industry. Is $80 for Mario Kart World a bridge too far? Okay. We'll get into them because, again, they made an interview talking about the price, and we'll talk about it later. But again, I feel a lot of people are losing their minds over this, which you should. I feel like you should. I feel like you're justified if you think $80 is too much. And I think you're justified in saying that, like, it's Nintendo's fault for pricing it this way, because it is. They made the price. They dug their grave, so it's their fault. But at the same time, I feel like at the same time, this has been something that has been boiling. This has been a fucking powder keg that has had the fuse lit for tens of years now. You know? Can't believe they're not using Mies for the Welcome Tour. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But again, they haven't been using Mies for anything. It's kind of impressive Tomodachi Life's being done at all, but also Tomodachi Life, Tomodachi Life. You know? I don't know. It's yucky. It's very yucky. But Wario's so happy. I do want to read this actually, because I have an idea for this. Yesterday's Nintendo Direct gave us an absolutely mammoth amount of information about Switch 2. Also, shoutouts to Damian McFerrin for writing this article. Yesterday's Nintendo Direct gave us an absolutely mammoth amount of information about Switch 2, but one of the less welcome revelations was that the game prices are rising for Nintendo's new console, with leading launch title Mario Kart World costing a whopping $80 or £75 in physical form. The digital version is less, while buying it in the Switch 2 bundle brings the price down even more. As you can imagine, that price hike has caused quite a bit of concern online, with recent conversations regarding GTA 6 possibly costing as much as $100. Nintendo's bump is only going to give Rockstar Games the confidence to increase its prices. After all, Mario Kart World and GTA 6 are the two closest things you got to a sure bet in-games retail right now. Pause the music real fast. Let's pause the music. Chat. Rockstar did it. I don't think Rockstar gives a shit about what Nintendo's price is. You know what gives Rockstar the confidence of putting GTA 6 at $100? Do you want to get, chat? Do you want to guess what gives Rockstar the confidence to put GTA 6 at $100? Do you want to guess? It's a little thing called Grand Theft Auto 6. It's fun fact, guys. I think GTA 6 is the reason GTA 6 will cost $100, because fun fact, it's GTA 6. People are gonna buy that shit. Not even a fucking question. People are gonna buy that shit, and you know why? Because it's GTA 6. That's why. Fun fact. Few fun facts for you, matey. A few fun facts for you. With how people be about GTA, I feel like they will pay $200 for it. Yeah, it's like, again, why are we blaming Nintendo for what other people in the industry are going to do? It's going to make people feel, oh, here, look at that. Nintendo comments on Mario Kart World's controversial price. We will get to that later, because that's very common. A lot of people commented on this one. We should read the comments, but again, do not... Okay, I need to preface this. When I'm going through these articles, please do not harass or critique any of the people that are doing their job as journalists, and don't harass people that are making comments about the situation. This is a contained conversation, and I want it to be as contained as possible. Don't let this seep out, because again, I'm not going to critique other people. I'm going to respectfully disagree, maybe, with some people. But please don't let this turn into a targeted attack, and don't let it be perceived or motivate you to have a targeted attack towards somebody. That's it. Anyway. When a new generation comes around, there's always the argument that game prices should be expected to rise. Development budgets, inflation, and other factors are often cited as key reasons. In the case of Mario Kart World, you could certainly say it's a more ambitious game than its predecessor, which, lest we forget, was first released over a decade ago on Wii U. There's also a keener focus on online play, making it more akin to a live service title, and one which Nintendo will presumably support over the lifespan of the Switch 2, which comes at a cost. I hope that they do this, but I hope it's all free updates, and that the game that exists now in 1.0 is good enough for the $80, but also hopefully has good content in the future. I hope this is like Overwatch 2 without loot boxes kind of situation, where it's you pay for a premium, and it, you know... But the problem is, the last time somebody tried to do a premium live service game was Concord. Don't need to say anything else about that. As a counterpoint, you could argue that any costs related to a online functionality should be covered by the fact that you're charging Switch 2 owners a monthly fee to play over the web via Nintendo Switch Online. Bumping up the base cost is effectively double dipping. It's worth noting that Donkey Kong Bonanza costs $10 less, but other titles such as Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch... Oh my god. Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 version is $80. This is bizarre. What the fuck are they thinking is going to happen? Yeah, so, okay. So I was right. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 was going to be $80 because it was $70 base price. So that does mean Breath of the Wild will be $70 Switch 2 version. So that's cool. Decent price physically, and then also reminder, everything should be cheaper digitally. So if you are a digital gamer, you are winning. All things considered, being honest here, you're kind of winning right now. That's just unfortunately the truth. What they just mentioned about double dipping is a massive reason why I stopped getting consoles. Oh yeah, paying for online. Look, fun fact, I don't actively have a Switch Online membership. I can still use Nintendo Music. I feel like a fucking maverick. But yeah, no, I don't. Here's the thing. You know why I don't get the online? Because I don't use it. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm in a very specific situation where I don't use the online, so I can justify not buying the online whenever I, like all the time. But I know for a lot of people, they need the online because this is the one game they're gonna play. I think literally, who started it? I think it was Xbox. Didn't Xbox start the paid online service thing? I think Xbox started it with Halo 2. I think that was what it was. I was on Soul's family plan, but he stopped using it, so it dropped. Okay, don't just switch to PC, basically, yeah. I mean, yeah, but like, if you're wanting to play Mario Kart, unfortunately, if you want to play Mario Kart online, you gotta pay for Switch Online, which sucks. But again, it's like, again, here's the thing. It sucks that it's paid anything. $20 a year is a steal, and I hope to God they don't increase the base price. Increase the base price of the expansion pack, but pirate it. Yeah, pirate a game, but you can't play it online, though. Can you play an online game? Can you pirate a game and play it online? I'm sure that's not possible. See, that's the thing. It's like, fun fact, that's just, I don't know. Do what you want to do. Like, do what you can. Like, if that's your feeling, not always. I wondered. That's cool if you can. If you can figure that out, that's cool. But again, if that's the path you need to go for this, no hate. Honestly, with the fucking tariffs and shit, justified. It sucks, but yeah. If that's just how you want to do it, I mean, I can't fucking stop you. I'm not your dad. But yeah. Covering cost also seems like a weak argument when you take into account that Mario Kart 8 sold 8.46 million copies on Wii U and 67.35 million on Switch, with the base retail price not really changing at all much in the decade it's been on sale. That game will have generated Nintendo an eye-watering amount of revenue, and if it had kept Mario Kart World's price in line with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's, it would still be looking forward to It would still be looking forward to generating a mountain of cash. Of course, the current state of the world combined with inflation and a weak yen means that Nintendo needs to move the needle if it wants to maintain any kind of profits it has been enjoying over the Switch's lifespan. It has shareholders it needs to keep happy after all. Unfortunately, it sucks, but that's just the honest truth. It sucks because it is super anti-consumer. But that's the problem, is they're not doing this because of the consumer. They're literally doing it because they need to keep their business afloat, which sucks. And it's like, unfortunately, devil's advocate, that has to happen. I don't like it. It is the reason, though. I don't need to like it to just say a fact. It's that like stupid ass fucking Ben Shapiro quote, and I hate that I say that, but it's true, unfortunately. It's a company. It does shitty company things, but like, it's a company. It's hard to envisage. On the flip side, the average consumer is feeling the pinch even more for many of the same reasons. Yeah, inflation. Yes, I think it's too much. Fun fact, I do. I really do. But again, also, it purely depends on what they show off in the Direct. I don't know. Are you buying the Switch too? Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, kind of. I wouldn't say it's my job per se, but like, this is like my thing, you know? Like, if the pack of the Pokemon card, like, if you could get like booster packs of Pokemon cards and they were $20 instead of $10, there are people that are still buying it. But at the same time, like, I can still say it sucks and I can still buy it. It's not being a hypocrite, it's me stating the obvious fact, but also stating the obvious fact that this is what I like to do. Like, if comic books costs more than $0.25, but I still buy comic books, like, I'm sorry, like, it's, you just gotta hope change happens. It's just, I'm still gonna buy it. I'm not gonna claim that, that's just a fact. Then don't buy it. Sorry. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, fun fact, like how I told you that I'm not the boss of you for not wanting to buy it and pirate what you want. Fun fact, matey. You're not the boss of me. I can spend my money however I want. That's the fun thing about financial freedom. Being a adult. That's the fun fact. Not sold on Switch 2's camera. Hori's Piranha Plant model might change your mind. This actually would be the only reason I get the camera. This is the only reason, so that I can have a Piranha Plant that sends my data to the CIA. I would buy this in a heartbeat. If it's the same price as well. Well, how much are they thinking about selling this? If it's $50 like it is for the Switch 2, for the Switch 2 camera, I would buy this. That's so stupid. The way you close the camera is closing the Piranha Plant's mouth. That is wild. That's crazy, dude. That's wild. Wait. That is fucking funny. You turn off the camera by closing its mouth. I might buy this. I might buy this. And then I can flash my penis to people in Mario Party. You know that's gonna happen. Dude, what do you think Nintendo is gonna do? Like, okay, here's the thing. A lot of people have, like, wondered if this is gonna be the case. Dude, there is no fucking way. There is no fucking way that they are not gonna make face cam access, like, friends only. I refuse to believe that they're gonna make face cam, like, random. Like, they're not gonna omegle this shit, right? They're not gonna omegle this. They're gonna make damn sure that only verified users between each other can send facecam. I do not believe that they are gonna be like, yeah, man, the world's your fucking oyster. You know, it's the internet. Welcome to the internet. Have a look around. Penis, 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 penis all around. You know, like, Nintendo's not gonna do that. But anyways. Price of performance, yeah. Switch 2 battery is almost a match for the Steam Decks. I mean, yeah, it's a more powerful console. It's gonna draw more power. That's just... It's just how it goes. I don't know what you want me to say. That just works. Okay, this one's actually really wholesome. I kind of like that, this is a fun one. Donkey Kong Country Artist shares his thoughts on Kong's new design, again by Damien McFadden. I want to paint that Piranha Plant as a Pikmin flower. That would be interesting. Also, chat, no, don't go towards that one guy that was asking about the Switch, me buying the Switch 2. Like, if I don't want that, okay? Again, this is a conversation. It's back and forth. Let's be adults here. Well, okay. If for the adults that are actually watching this stream, let's be adults, okay? Yesterday, as you'll all be aware, Nintendo showed off the Switch 2 alongside a bunch of games, one of which was a new entry in the Donkey Kong saga. Donkey Kong Bonanza showcased a new version of the character, marking the first time he's been redesigned for a game since Rare's Donkey Kong Country back in 1994. The man responsible for that variant of the character, KiRBiZoiD, I think is the way you say that, has responded to claims that there's a debate amongst fans about Donkey Kong's new appearance. You mean they won't let you rage flash a stranger after they beat you in Smash? Dude, okay, one thing I will say, there hasn't been any news about Smash for the Switch 2, whether that's like a Switch 2 version of Smash Ultimate. I would love Smash Ultimate Switch 2 version, but it comes with all the DLC in like the cartridge. That would be so cool. I would love that. You might assume that Bayless, having given us one of the most memorable redesigns in gaming history, might be precious about his approach behind jettisoned in favor of a new look, but the opposite is actually true. He loves it. To quote Donkey Kong's creator, that is a based username, Donkey Kong's creator. No, I don't want to be on X, no. I don't understand why there's any debate to be had. It's still DK, only better looking. Only better looking? Wild. Okay, wait, I want to read this. I want to read this whole thing. Fuck Elon Musk, but I'm gonna actually use x.com for a second here. I don't understand why there's any debate to be had. It's still DK, only better looking. People need to embrace change more. All good things must... Oh... All good things get better with age. I would say that, though, since I've been doing this for almost 40 years now, everyone give a big warm welcome for the new DK. That is actually very wholesome. That's a very wholesome tweet. You never see that on X. I, for one, love how expressive the new DK is, because this time it was done by real artists, lol. Okay, that's actually really funny. That's crazy. He's just like, yeah, it's because actual artists made him. Hear me out, the Piranha Plant camera could also work as a Piranha Plant amiibo. That would be cool. Look back, 3-1s, how you doing? I don't understand why there's any debate to be had. Yeah, just saying that, like, yeah, if the guy who made the old design likes the new design, then I don't think we have to, like, fight for Rare. Because I've seen a lot of people that are, like, trying to be like, Nintendo killed Rare. Nintendo finally is, like, getting rid of Rare's design. And it's like, guys, you do understand that Rare right now is doing, like, Sea of Thieves, right? Like, they don't care. They don't. It's not the same people anymore. You know what killed Rare? Microsoft, but also Rare. Rare is not Rare anymore. It's completely different. Like, I'm sorry, but it's true. But also, this allows Donkey Kong to be way more expressive. And it's really cool. I really like it. Oh, best of luck with that assignment, 3-1s. Best of luck. Apparently, we'll talk about this later, but apparently it has been confirmed that the Switch 2 will not have Hall effect sticks. And there are a lot of people... Okay, I'm going through this from the perspective of somebody that never once experienced Joy-Con drift. I'm one of the lucky few that has never had Joy-Con drift. I have, however, had Pro Controller drift. My old Pro Controller that I used for years had a stick drift, but that was like years of use, and also partially my fault because I did stick it one way for a while when I used to do egg shiny hunting. I didn't even get a shiny. Instead, I had to spend money on a new controller. Oh. But yeah, if Pikmin were gummies and if you'd get the white one, you'd get poisoned. What? Hello to Goofy Guts Cat. Hello. Meow. But yeah, it's been confirmed that the Hall effect sticks, which basically is a stick that is less likely to get drift over time because it uses magnets. It's like the most simple way of explaining it. They are not going to be on the Switch 2, but Nintendo has confirmed that they have redesigned the controller itself, so it could mean that whatever was causing the Joy-Con stick drift will be gone from this new Joy-Con, but unfortunately we will not know until we have it for a long amount of time. But from the looks of it, a lot of people are losing their fucking mind just because the one solution we know about, or the popular solution that we know about, is not here. People immediately are like losing their minds and they're like, Nintendo doesn't care. Nintendo doesn't care. They're already doing, they're gonna have stick drift again. And it's like, cool your fucking tits. We don't know. We just don't know. And again, like, it's wild. Like, people have like taken the fact that it doesn't have Hall effect sticks and they're just like, well, then it's gonna drift again. And it's like, no offense. There have been controllers without Hall effect that don't drift as much as the Joy-Con. It could just be that they fixed it and just couldn't do Hall effect with the magnets that are already on the Joy-Con. We don't know. And also, we won't know until it happens. You just gotta hope that it doesn't happen. But again, a lot of people don't want to do that. Okay, this I want to talk about. Ooh, this pisses me off so much. Pisses me off so much, chat. Imagine trying to play something like Smash and you're just given the wrong move because the stick was just saying fuck you. Oh, okay, that's what happens. You know how I figured out that my Pro Controller had drift, by the way? It was because I was playing Minecraft on the Switch. And it drifted. I was like, what the fuck? I've never had stick drift. Genuinely have not. At least on Joy-Con. So, my experience... But then there's people that are just like I've gone through 10 pairs of Joy-Con. All of them have drifted. I could have paid rent this month, but I decided to just buy it all. Just buy Joy-Con. It's the only thing I know how to do. And I'm like, lucky me. I'm very, very fortunate position in that instance. But also, I'd never use my Joy-Con. That could also be it. That could also be it. Bravely Default. Dude, this pisses me off so much. There's not much really to talk about with this one. Just the simple fact that the big catch with this one is the cover art suggests this is one of the Switch 2 releases which will ship on a game key card, which effectively means it's a download code without any of the convenience of a download code. This pisses me off so much because Bravely Default is one of the coolest games ever. And here's the thing, chat. You know why? You know why? You know why Bravely Default is one of my favorite RPGs ever? because it passes the jobs check. I love jobs in RPGs, and I specifically love it when you have a full party in an RPG and you can give all of them different jobs, and you basically get to create your own party of like different combinations of jobs. Dude, that is like my favorite RPG mechanic ever. That's why Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is my favorite Xenoblade game. I have not beaten it, but oh my god. Give me a bunch of characters with different jobs and let me make my own little fucked up combinations, and I will play that game for so much. I need to play Xenoblade 3 again. I need to catch up on that. Dude, Xenoblade 3 4K on Switch 2. It'll be so good. 120 frames. Just drooling from the mouth. Making giant pools of spittle as I drool. Please make sure you're wearing trousers when using Switch 2's mouse controls. Bare skin is a no-no. Amiibos, EA commits to Switch 2, rock surfing and boulder bashing. Yeah, brilliantly bonkers. I have seen that apparently a lot of, there's been a lot of reports that have played Donkey Kong with the Switch 2 experience. A lot of them have said that like there are some noticeable frame dips that happen every now and then specifically Nathaniel Bandy talked about how he didn't like how when you used the map in DK Bonanza, the frame rate when you're like looking through the map is a little choppy. It's like a little like 30 frames per second-ish. I don't know if that's really going to be an issue though. I think it'll depend on like how often you open the map, but also the map is constantly, like the game itself, it is rendering a destructed environment, is trying to make a map of the destructed environment. But at the same time, you know, like fucking Deep Rock Galactic can make a map pretty fast and seamless, so kind of, you know, eh. The mouse is going to irradiate your balls. Congratulations to Dr. Narwhal for the new pinned message. What the fuck? There you go. Drop the price, scream Nintendo fans during the Nintendo's Treehouse Live broadcast. Chat, can we all admit it is a noticeable thing, and I think it's really cool. I don't think this will do anything, and maybe that's the defeatist in me. I really feel like this did nothing. I don't think Nintendo will care at all, especially considering the interview that we're about to considering the interview that we'll read in a bit. Sale predictions remain unchanged despite Switch 2's price concerns. It's cool. Switch Digital being cheaper than physical is a challenge. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Cyberpunk might pull a Witcher 3 on Switch 2. Breathtaking? You're breathtaking. CRT filter for GameCube games. Donkey Kong Bonanza looks good. Who would have guessed? Breath of the Wild from OLED to LCD wasn't a decision Nintendo took lightly. Welcome Tour be a pack-in. Should Welcome Tour be a pack-in game? Yes. I think that's all we need to know there. I like this one. Hands-on, finally, Super Mario Party Jamboree lets me scream at Bowser. Say it loud. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. NVIDIA Switch 2 has 10 times the graphics performance of the Nintendo Switch. DLSS and real-time ray tracing also confirmed. No one will be able to make that work on a Switch. I'm just gonna say it. It's capable, but it doesn't mean it's doable, you know? That's my thought on that. Improved wireless connectivity, you would hope so, because they are showing the return of download play. You would really hope that it does. Surprised the N64 app is also getting some enhancements on Switch 2. I think it's just allowing you to, let me see. By Liam. Shoutouts to Liam once again. Nintendo has already revealed the GameCube app for Switch 2, which will be getting an optional CRT filter, but it won't be alone. The company's official website has also confirmed there are new features to look forward to on the Nintendo 64 app, and included is a new CRT filter to add a retro feel to your games. In addition, there is a button remapping for each game's controls, and the top of Nintendo is adding a rewind feature. Dude, thank you. Why was this not... For those who were not using N64 on NSO, that shit sucked. It sucked so bad, dude. Oh my god. N64 NSO had like none of the features that were like so nice with literally every other NSO. Rewind, CRT filter, button remapping. The button remapping for N64 as well specifically. Oh, thank fucking God, dude. Ugh. I hope that N60 that might be the next N64 November chat. And Switch 2. Dude, N64 November on Switch 2 would be kind of cool. Maybe we'll actually play like a good N64 game this year. Who would think that specifically isn't called, you know, I think anything that isn't called Conker's Bad Fur Day is an immediate upgrade. I'm gonna say it. Mario Kart, okay, Mario Kart World character select screen teases absolutely huge roster. I guess we'll use this as a segue. Mario Kart World. Alright, chat, you ready to read all these characters? You ready? This is the returning characters that have been in any Mario game, including any Mario Kart game, including Mario Kart Tour. Because I know a lot of these like later ones are Mario Kart Tour exclusive. We've got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, Toad, Daisy, Rosalina, Donkey Kong, Wario, Koopa Troopa, Polly, Waluigi, Toadette, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, Baby Rosalina, Bowser Jr., Lakitu, King Boo, Shy Guy, Birdo, Drybones, Wiggler, Hammer Bro, Charge and Chuck, Nabbit, and Monty Mole. But the new characters. Let's show... One second. Yeah, 1 second. 1 second. Alright, cool. Cool. Just putting this here. Okay, so for the new characters, we've got Goomba Piranha Plant. This is a new image. Literally, this got updated in the past 24 hours. I was showing all of these to read. This was not the image that showed up before, so it caught me off guard. Piranha Plant, Pianta, Spike, Dolphin. This is a new image for Dolphin as well. Wait a minute. This is a new image for Dolphin. Holy shit. Is that sex? Chad, is this sex? Is this considered the sex? I've never had it before. What is this? Is this what the sex havers call it nowadays? I think that's dolphin sex right there. That's wild. I'm gonna go crazy. I've been having to use my crappy Chromebook for a bit and suddenly keeps deepening the audio coming from my AirPods. Yeah, that was my reenactment of it. Okay, chat. I'm sure people want to know who I'm gonna play as in, I'm sure there's people that want my reaction to, like, specific characters. I've seen these characters so many times. But also, who am I gonna play as? Between such characters as Goomba, Piranha Plant, Pianta, Spike, Dolphin, Cowpokey, Parabitty, Bud, Penguin, Sidestepper, Snowman, Cataquack, Fishbone, Peppa, Swoop, Stingbee, Rocky Wrench, Coin Coffer, Cheep Cheep, and Conkdor. Which of them am I gonna play as? I'm gonna be dead-ass honest. What? That is too much fucking power. Wait, does that really? No, I'm not. No. Dude, I love Fishbone so much. This is the stupidest thing imaginable. Dude, Fishbone, though. But like Fishbone. Oh, Piranha Plant. Jump scare. I wanted to lower it just a little bit. There we go. There we go. Much better. This looks cool, though. I want to play as Fishbone. That or Cow. But I feel like if I say Cow, that's basic. I feel like Cow for Mario Kart World is like saying you're gonna play Mario in literally any Mario game ever. You know? Character costumes. We need to talk about these character costumes. Chat room. So for Mario, we've got Touring, All-Terrain, Aviator, which is literally Mario Kart, not Mario, Mario Odyssey. Happy? Wait, there's no way. Happy? Happy. Oh, I'm a happy. Between Pauline and Parabitty Bud. That's a cool one. I can't wait to play as Peppa and as Peepa to ask someone if I could Peepa at their pee-pee with Nintendo brand Discord. Nintendo Discord? Yeah, that'd be good luck with that. I like happy. Oh, I'm happy. Hey, if I could choose an emotion right now, I'd be. I'm so happy. That'd make me so happy. Hey, you got any food? That's fucked. Yeah, similar to Mario Kart 2 or Mario Odyssey. Interesting. I like the cowboy. That's a good cowboy. I think that's also Aviator? No, that's a different one that... I think it's just like Biker Mario. There's a Sunshine. The Sunshine with the little sunglasses. That looks really good. And then another biker outfit. The Mario ones are fine. The Mario outfits feel really basic. You know? Outside of Happy. Super Nintendo Switch. Yeah, they were going to call it that, actually. I do like Piranha Plant, though. Piranha Plant is kind of funny. Alright, for Luigi, these are the only ones we know for sure. We have Pro Racer, Farmer. That one. Gondolier. Also Happy, and then Twink. We have Twink Luigi. Here, let's set that up in a... Let's show that. Can we zoom in on the Twink? Zoom in on the Twink. Yes. Twink. But we knew that already, so it's not that surprising. For Peach... Peach got, like, the fucking sauce. This is a new one. Yukata Peach. This looks so pretty. I love it. Yeah, Peach did not... Like, they spared no expense with the Peach costumes. They knew damn well that... You've got to be kidding. They knew damn well what they were doing there. It's wild. Daisy's got some good outfits. I mean, again, they knew what they were doing. Rosalina's got some good outfits. It seems like that's... Is that just a regular Rosalina outfit? What is that supposed to be? Biker outfit. Rosalina got, like, the Pro Racer outfit has gotten so much fan art already. Like, it is insane. If you're happy, and you know it, clap your hands. Twinking hands. Yeah. Rosalina's my second favorite now? Yeah, the Pro Racer one's really good. Bowser. Dude, wait. This one actually goes hard. I like this one. I really like Biker Bowser with the ripped fucking jeans right there as well. That is actually funny as fuck. I like this one. Dude. Imagine if Bowser, what's it called? Like Sweet Lightning or something? There's a specific song in Grease. Greased Lightning. I think that's what it was. There in the musical Grease, there's a line where, like, I think it's like one of the lines in Greased Lightning is like, they talk about the car and they call it, and I quote, a certified pussy wagon. And I would love to hear someone dub that as Bowser. Just go, certified pussy wagon. It's just fucking... I don't know. I find that really funny. This one looks fine, though. The all-terrain outfits look fine. I don't know. They're not the best. Where are the Boo costumes? Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. They should make a Bowser outfit where he's dressed up like a stereotypical tech geek nerd and the outfit is just named Browser. Dude. Too many good ideas. Too many good ideas. Okay, Toad has the... Oh, wait. Toad has the good ones. The one I want to show off is Burger Bud. I love this one. This one might be... If I get this one will be in the rotation. I will be playing Burger Bud more than I think I'd like to admit. I really like Burger Bud. I think this one... Like, if we do a tier list of all the costumes for Mario Kart World, this is going to be S tier for me. This is S tier. You turn Toad's head into a fucking burger. I want Burger Bud. I want it now, okay? Next up, I'm not even gonna even pretend like this is not the exact... What do I say? What do I say? What do I say? What do I say? What do I say about this? What the fuck do I say about this?
Hey there, baby. Have you seen that one scene in Conker's Bad Fur Day? Would you like to be the booby flower to my king bee? I'm absolutely buzzing thinking about you.
Fucking, I love this costume so much. Skin tight bee Wario. That is so fucking funny. I love it. There's like a punk rock. This one, the biker Wario, looks really good. It's like the all-terrain. This pirate one, there's some pirate outfits, which is really cool. Wario's my number one now. Gab, does Garlo... Oh, God. Garlo. That's my Mario clone. Gab, does Wario make garlic-flavored honey?
Yes.
Waluigi's got some good ones. The sombrero. They literally canonized Waluigi's taco stand. That is fucking awesome. Unironically, Waluigi's taco stand being canonized in some shape or form is crazy. He's got some good ones. The biker one looks really good. Road Ruffian? Soft server. Okay, wait. There's some really good costumes here. I really like soft server. This is Subby skin. Like when this is Subby. Chat, this is Subby. This is Subby's character. I'm sorry, but this is Subby. Sorry.
My new micro game. Pull the stinger out of my ass.
I don't know why that's so fucked. That's fucked. You can't say that. Okay, we got a new pinned message. We have the new pinned message. That's good. That's good. This is cute though. I love this one. This is Subby's skin. I see that being Subby. Birdo's getting costumes? The fuck? What the fuck? I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, but what the fuck? Dude, what the fuck? There's so many good ones. Fucking little baby in the swimwear. These are cute. The babies are cute. We got some really good ones for the babies. I still cannot believe that they kept the babies but killed off the Koopaling. Chat. Doesn't it kind of like blow your fucking mind that they decided to get rid of the Koopalings, but they didn't get rid of the babies? Okay, wait. But then you look at Explorer Daisy and it's like, okay, never mind, that makes sense now. Like, that is wild. Lakitu's got some. King Boo, dude. Motherfucking King Boo. Oh, look at this boy. Look at this boss little boy.
Yes, I am the king of the boos. I'm part of the bourgeoisie.
I love this design. It looks really good. I love this. Good riddance. I'm back. Sorry, what did I miss? You missed a lot. I love it. I specifically love Pirate King Boo. This goes so fucking hard. This is also an immediate S tier for me. I love this design. Looks so good. Yoshi, of course. Fucking. He's just floating in the air with this fucking cane, dude. Motherfucker going,
Bring home.
Bring home.
Yoshi.
That's wild, dude. Wait, these Yoshi skins go so hard. That's actually kind of crazy. Dude, I fucking love that they went all the way and gave all the different Yoshi skins the different colors. That is fucking awesome. That is actually so fucking good. That is such a good way of doing the costumes for Yoshi. Genuinely, Yoshi might be my go-to. I don't know if it's legally allowed or something, but a King Boo skin based on Luigi's Mansion King Boo would go hard. Dude, I know. I almost went down the gacha pipeline in Mario Kart Tour when I saw that Luigi's Mansion King Boo was a skin in Mario Kart Tour. I almost went crazy with the money on that. Cool. Yo, wait. Yo, my name is Koopa Troopa. I had my shell to cover my poopa. Hold up there, copper. I'ma suck that dick proper. I like how Donkey Kong only has one confirmed skin, and it's Donkey Kong in fucking hockey. I love that. Also, only one Pauline skin. That's wild. At least that we know of. We don't know yet.
God.
But yeah, that's all the ones we have so far. They put Boo-Hemoth way. They put Behemoth in it? Dude, who remembers Behemoth? Jesus, dude. That's wild. Dude, Dark Moon King Boo goes so fucking hard. Okay, yeah. Showcasing that, yes. Huge, absolutely huge roster. Absolutely huge. We're only on Friday. But Jesus. Micro SD cards for Switch 2? Yeah, it kind of sucks. I understand that it sucks for micro SD Express for Nintendo Switch 2. But at the same time, consoles like the PS5 have like been trying to preface that, like, yes, you do need faster storage if you want games to run faster or load faster. So it sucks, but again, it seems Nintendo is trying, like, they, like, eventually this, I feel like this is something that eventually needed to happen, especially because of all the loading issues that we've had with Switch. So it's I'm kind of happy, but at the same time kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, like, they had to do this eventually. But yeah, it sucks. They should have given him the Paper Mario Koopa shades. That would go so hard. Okay, yeah, check this shit out, dude. This one kind of fucks with me. So, Nintendo has been shown that they are surprisingly good at cramming so much video game into such small file sizes. Like, I love Sea of Thieves, I do, but dude, that game is hundreds of gigabytes. It is not worth hundreds of gigabytes to keep that shit on my Switch. And so it is baffling looking at the file sizes for this game. Okay, fun fact, okay. Sorry, yawn. This right here, Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Star-Crossed World. This has more content. This file size is smaller than Switch 1. This is smaller than the original game, file-wise. What do you say to that? I don't know. It's crazy. I don't get that. It's fucking wild. I don't get it. It's fucking crazy. But yeah. Mario Kart World is now officially the newest. I think Mario Kart World officially is now the biggest game that Nintendo has ever made, like file size wise. That is officially the biggest file size of any Nintendo Switch first party game ever. And it is Mario Kart World at 23. I think the last game to hold the record for that was, it was either Tears of the Kingdom or Smash Ultimate with 18 gigabytes. Smash Ultimate was also one of them, yeah. Smash, Xenoblade, or must have been Tears of the Kingdom maybe. It was like 18 point something gigabytes. This is an extra like 5 gigabytes bigger than like Smash Ultimate, Tears of the Kingdoms, games like this. I don't know what the fuck is going on in that open world, because dude, okay, I'm zooming in as big as I humanly can. How is Donkey Kong Bonanza 10 gigabytes? How? Riddle me that, Batman. Fucking how is Donkey Kong 10 gigabytes? How? I don't get that. How the fuck did they do that? I genuinely cannot believe that. That is fucking crazy. It's just bizarre. You can hold 25 Donkey Kong Bonanzas on your Switch. That is so fucking crazy. I don't get that, dude. That is just like the most insane file sizes. And this is if you don't play physical, you know? So it's like, it is reassuring, because that does mean you should be able to hold more than like 5 Switch games on your Switch 2. You should be able to hold like 10. I just find it so fucking wild. I do not understand the fucking wizardry they have done to get that to work. Dragon Drive is fantastic, but is it destined to be Switch 2's ARMS? I've seen a lot of people that have said that like this game is surprisingly fun. Dragon Drive apparently is like shockingly fun. And that is That is bizarre. And that is so cool. But the answer to this question is yes. Because that game looks, but it visually looks bland as fuck. Pardon my French. But yeah. Also, we don't know how much Drag and Drive is gonna cost. And it's like, dude, I bet you they're gonna try to charge full price for Drag and Drive. And that is also gonna be such a huge reason to be the ARMS for Switch 2. Because this, I think I felt the exact way when I read this article, but also like, well before. I'm yawning like crazy. I really do feel like that is just the genuine, like, that is the opinion I had, like, even looking at this game in general, was like, yeah, this is gonna be the ARMS of the Switch 2. Because, I mean, that literally showed, like, 2 controllers that you can use to punch, and now this is showing, like, 2 mice that you can use to play a video game. I really don't see it being anything less, or anything... I definitely don't see it as anything less, but at the same time, I don't see it doing anything more, you know, than being Switch 2 ARMS. And that sucks, because I think from a lot of people, apparently this game is, like, really cool, and there's, like, a really decent skill ceiling, and apparently it's really cool, but, yeah, that's gonna suck. That's gonna suck. Alright. Digital Foundry says Switch 2 running Switch games at 4K is quite the thing in performance breakdown. Huh. I want to read this, actually. Again, shoutouts to PJ for the article. Those incredibly clever specs machines over at Digital Foundry have been hard at work breaking down all the juicy technical details in the wake of Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. In the wake of Nintendo's, Jesus Christ, I cannot read. I'm so sorry. In the wake of Nintendo's Switch 2 Direct, and the news is good for fans of things that are more powerful than the things that preceded them. That's everyone, right? Richard Ledbetter, tech editor over at Digital Foundry, said that he'd expected Nintendo to gently evolve rather than stage any sort of revolution, but that they'd showed... Yeah, but that... Holy shit. But that they'd showed they were still capable of surprises. Starting with the console's new screen, he went on, quote, "The display may be LCD in nature, but in every other spec point, the firm has delivered. First of all, there's the inclusion of HDR, transformative to a game's presentation, as anyone with a decent TV or even Steam Deck OLED can attest. The potential here is considerable and could have industry-wide ramifications. A mainstream console ships with an HDR display as standard, which should, in theory at least, guarantee take-up of the feature in the future." Ledbetter also mentions 120Hz and VRR support, which is variable refresh rate. That in particular could help lift games from 30 FPS to a much smoother 40 sweet spot, which has so often been a nice middle ground, even for some new PS5 and Series X games. That's true, a lot of people like the 40 FPS for Monster Hunter Wilds specifically, but I couldn't care less. I need Monster Hunter in 60 frames. That is like, I cannot play Monster Hunter Wilds in anything lower than 60 frames per second. It feels so gross. It feels so gross. I can't do it. Might just be me. I don't know. It really is great and a bit strange to see a Nintendo console supporting all of this new tech actually getting with the times, even if, as Digital Foundry says, we need to remember it's still a fairly underpowered piece of mobile tech. You can't ruin our hype, Richard. I'm gonna quote that for the future. Some other points that we picked out from Digital Foundry's excellent video, which you can watch in full above, are as follows. Battery is less powerful than found in a Steam Deck. Okay. Donkey Kong Bonanza is looking great and showing off the console's new processing power. Mario Kart World seriously impressed the team. The footage we saw from what must be the dock mode rendered at 1440p resolution, albeit with no visible anti-aliasing. We're also hearing reports from hands-on event happening right now that there is a 1080p mode. Jesus fucking Christ, I can't read. Running at 120 FPS. Switch games boosted with special editions represent a 5.12 times boost to pixel throughput. Ray tracing tech is built, but saw no evidence of it being used. The team couldn't see evidence of DLSS, though it can't be ruled out. Nvidia has confirmed that it has that functionality. In terms of third-party games, Digital Foundry were less enthusiastic, with some games looking a little underwhelming. Yeah, a lot of people, and even I said it, like, third-party does not look the best on Switch 2, but again, I think it really will be a first-party Nintendo machine. of like getting these games to be like fully playable. Finally, Warframe playable on Switch. Yeah, okay, well actually, funnily enough, you mentioned that. Right now they're actually testing Warframe because Warframe right now does not work on Switch 2. They're currently trying to figure out what's going on. So it's actually kind of funny you mentioned that. Where to pre-order Mario Kart? Select EU retailers are abandoning Nintendo suggested retail price. Now this is not a new thing from what I've heard. Like, the EU retailers, they seem to always try to like get the games as cheap as possible so that they can try to competitively get more purchases than other retailers in the EU. So this is not a US thing. This does not happen in the US. Usually this happens more in the EU, and which is why it seems so bizarre. But a lot of EU retailers were doing this with Switch 1, so it's really cool to see that in the EU, yeah. Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2, yeah. John Cartwright, he is the one that like showed me. He's the one that like I found out about this from. As hoped, EU retailers are not following suggested retail price. Nintendo list DK as 80 euros. Retailers are starting to list games at 60 instead. Crazy. While UK retailers haven't started listing Switch 2 software pre-orders at the time of writing, we've heard that storefronts in Spain and Italy are sticking to Nintendo suggested prices. First wave of pre-orders start to trickle out. In short, it seems that only very select stores are going against the grain on Switch 2 pricing, but there are every chance that others will follow suit. Yeah. Jesus Christ, I am losing my voice, but I've been just talking for the past 2-3 hours, so not a shocker. France, I saw France is also selling games for like dirt cheap. If it wasn't for the fact that probably getting that from France to the US, like importing it, would probably cost me the same amount, I probably would do it. Because at this point, the tariffs will probably make the Switch 2 $550 without Mario Kart. So that's fun. That's nice. That's nice. A lot of people have been saying that the LCD screen will look practically the same as, because, you know, better, it'll look better, like, graphically. But apparently colors, a lot of people have said that it looks just as good as an OLED, like the Switch OLED, but it won't have as deep of blacks as, like an OLED does. But again, that's OLED specific tech. From what I've heard is that, like, blacks will be, like, very rich and just, like, pitch black. When an LCD screen will probably, like, mute the blacks. It won't be as, like, deep and dark and rich, like when it's lit up on a Switch 2. It's a quick flight in and out, max 1 day there, I guess so. I don't know, want to go to France? My treat? There's no way that you're serious about that. But also, that would be super hellish to pay, and also, I don't have a passport. Because, yeah, I would have had to pay for money. I would have had to pay money for that. Duskbloods will be satisfying for people who dislike PvP. Apparently, this is, the Duskbloods, the Bloodborne 2, that's Switch exclusive. Apparently, that is, PvPvE. And apparently there are a lot of, apparently there is a lot of stuff you can do that is PvE from what I've seen. Again, we haven't seen actual gameplay, so we don't know for sure how this works. So we will have to wait and see. Who knows? Where to pre-order Mario Party, where to pre-order Kirby, where to pre-order... Yeah, so yeah, this is when we get the announcement. When time-wise was this? 10 a.m. So this was like early in the morning, like we learned about this. Nintendo delayed the pre-orders because of US Trump tariffs, and let's just say from the news I've read, it's not looking better. So yeah, fun fact, that is going to be just as bad, if not worse. Actually, 1 second, let me see. Let's see what happens here. Stocks fall. Yep. 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 Orange Man made the stocks worse. That's awesome. Thanks, Orange Man. Ugh. Oh, fuck. I love it being in America. But at least I know I'm free. I won't forget the man who died, who made that right for me. Except Donald Trump, he'll forget the man who died. because he doesn't care about the military, even though he puts so much money into the defense budget. And I'll proudly stand up. Anyways, we're not getting into that. We're not getting into that. We are now almost caught up. No one is talking about the Switch 2's best feature, HD Rumble. Apparently HD Rumble is better. Mario Kart World Course List, don't want to look into that. Masahiro Sakurai provides brief development update on his new Switch 2 game. I want to read this, actually. Nintendo officially revealed Masahiro Sakurai's new project, Kirby Air Riders, during its Switch 2 Direct. In case you missed it, this is a sequel to the 2003 original Kirby Air Ride. This is the first Air Riders game since oh my god, Air Riders was 22 years ago. Jesus fuck. I was also 22 years ago. I was born then. Sakurai has now shared a quick development update on social media, revealing the game also being developed by Bandai Namco, the same company involved with Smash Ultimate. Just like Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS and Ultimate, the recently announced Kirby Air Riders game is also being developed by Bandai Namco. Nintendo Sora and Hal are also listed for Kirby for Switch 2, with Sakurai leading as director. He goes on to mention how the development team is giving it their all to make the game, but it's going to take a while before more information is shared. The full staff is giving their all in developing the game, but it will take some time before we can share more information. Please wait a bit longer. So this straight up feels like the Smash team. This is like the Smash developers, like all of them are working on Air Riders. So it's going to be interesting seeing how they would make a modern Air Ride game. Because this straight up seems like it's just going to be like, yeah, fucker, like everybody in Smash, did you like Sora in Smash? Okay. Well, if you liked our decisions there with development, we're just going to do that in Kirby. That's kind of cool. It was 22 years ago. Gab is Kirby Air Ride. Shh. No one's supposed to know. That's a secret. Yeah, apparently Elden Ring. That is fucked. Like, Cyberpunk is going to be, from what I've seen, yeah, Tarnished Edition is going to be, works on all systems. A regional account may be required for online features. According to Play Asia. Where does it say this? Oh, does it say game cart? Tarnished. Oh, game key cart. Yeah, it says it on the upper right. Damn, that's a shame. Yeah, apparently they tagged it. I was looking specifically in like box art. I thought they were like misreading this specifically. No, they were not. All right. Yeah, that sucks. That's kind of a shame, because also like, wow, you're literally making an exclusive game for the Switch 2, and the one game that's like the most popular game you've made, like ever, debatably, and that's the one you're gonna not put full attention to for Switch. You're just gonna, I don't know. It's stupid. It's dumb. I don't like it. But also, I'm sure their mentality is like, well, they're just gonna play it online anyway, because Elden Ring is online. So like, why not? You know, might as well just make it identical again. You know, like that's probably what's going through their dense skulls. The museum expands with a Switch 2 exhibit, which is really cool. So now they have like another exhibit in the Nintendo Museum. I want to go here. One of these days, I want to go to the Nintendo Museum. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. Oh no, I'm not a fan of Switch 2's mouse mode at all. I think this is the one person that I've specifically, and again, no hate, but Alana Higgs. She apparently was not a big fan of mouse mode, so it is a little divisive, but also this is the only person that I've seen that doesn't like the mouse mode, so it could just be a specific like fun for thee but not for me kind of thing. So maybe not. Which Switch 2 games are you wish listing? Nintendo appears to have given its game cases a makeover on Switch 2. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about this. We have seen, yeah, so okay, look at this. Oh god, I have to be on X again. Okay, here we go. So yeah, look at this. So apparently on the game case, it's kind of going back to the GameCube in a sense. Can you emulate on the Switch 2? Technically, yes. Technically. So the Switch 2 will have, it's kind of going back to the GameCube, also with like the top header. But now there's going to be box art wrapped over the spine. And I think objectively, this looks way better than Switch 1. This just looks way better, in my opinion. And also, I don't know how big these game carts are going to be. I'm gonna assume it's going to be just as big as Switch 1, like size-wise. I'm not gonna lie. I wish the boxes were smaller. Weird opinion, but that's my opinion. But there you go. An awesome box for a key card. I mean, yeah. But again, that's some third parties, like Cyberpunk, Mario Kart, and Donkey Kong are not game key cards. So, yeah. Switch 2 cross progression confirmed. Is this actually true? Is it going to be like wait, what? Wait, I want to see the source of this. Firstly, CD Projekt Red has confirmed the Nintendo release will be fully cross-progression compatible with versions on other platforms. Oh, that's cool. That's rad, actually. Good for them. Donkey Kong Bonanza key art accidentally leak a big surprise. I'm not going to show it, but let's just say if this is true, fucking poggers. That actually makes me way more excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza. Because it asks it brings up so many questions that I'm really excited for. That's another leak. This one's another leak. Too many questions and unwelcome surprises are taking the shine off Switch 2 reveal. Yep. Minecraft gives Mario a box office beating with record-breaking opening. Yeah, apparently Minecraft outsold Mario movie on opening weekend by like a few million. It wasn't too much. It was like maybe 10 million. Can Nintendo not get any leaks at all? Nintendo of Korea this time. So Korea just needs to get their shit together. I know that's kind of in poor taste considering the shit that's going on in Korea right now, but proves my point, I guess. Switch 2 game cart max capacity is 64 gigabytes, says Project Red. Nintendo apologizes as Japanese storage eShop malfunctioned for 5 days. That's fucked. Nintendo shares plummet in wake of Trump tariff action. Fuck Orange Man. We really want to future-proof. Nintendo Switch 2 interview. Yes. Okay, let's talk about this. This is like brand new info. I want to read this. I want to read this interview. So, this is the Vice President of Product Development and Publishing. This is Nate Bildorf. And fun fact, this is the voice of Shy Guy. Let that sink in. The Nintendo Switch 2 reveal has been a roller coaster ride. We've been waiting what feels like years for this momentous occasion, and from the game selection and the revelation of the C buttons function to the pricing issues, there hasn't been a dull moment. But one thing that stood out is the distinct focus on the hardware itself, not just the software. Nintendo has been keen to focus on the big improvements and specifications, highlighting the fact that this is a bigger and better Switch. Amidst the buzz of it all, we got to sit down with Nate Bildorf, Senior Vice President of Product Development and Publishing at Nintendo of America, a fan of snowboarding and Rhodesian Ridgebacks. We asked him about his favorite dog. It breaks the ice, trust us. Nate's been working with Nintendo since 1998. When he started as a playtester on Ocarina of Time, he's helped localize titles such as Paper Mario, Animal Crossing, and various Mario sports and RPGs. Most importantly, he's voiced the Shy Guys since Mario Golf Advance Tour. This guy. This is... like, this is that. That's him. He does that. That's his job. The prestige. The honor. So that's what he looks like under the mask. That's what the point of the mask is. Nate has been a big part of the Nintendo Switch 2's production, and we wanted to peel back the layers. We spoke out about the analog sticks on the new controllers, the use of mouse mode, why Welcome Tour wasn't included as a pack-in game, and why Nintendo is throwing a lot of weight behind its key mouse showcase game. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit more about... we want to talk a little bit about some of the software coming to Switch 2. Donkey Kong Bonanza looks insane in a really positive way. Can you talk about who is developing the game and how long it's been in the works for? I can talk about neither of those things. Right now, we really want to focus on the game itself as opposed to who's developing it. Of course, as we get closer to launch, you're probably going to learn more about that game as we roll out other information. As far as how long it's been in development, that one you probably have to go straight to the devs for it. By the time it hits production development and publishing, which is my department, they're obviously well underway on it. Okay. So a nothing burger. We do the localization work and product development and publishing, and we get some earlier looks at it. Honestly, I'm a massive Nintendo nerd, so the second I get a whiff that they're working on something, even if oh my god, even if we're not ready to go into active development, I'm banging on the door and asking if I can get a ROM, which most of the time I'm completely rebuffed. But by the time the localization team is getting it, typically that's sort of a year and a half prior to release, depending on the size of the game. But in terms of exactitude, you'd have to wait until you get some time with the devs themselves. Talking about the size of the game, it's oftentimes not just about the text, but also about increasing the voice recording in games that are a little bit heavier on voice. Okay. Do you think there's an equivalent of the Dream SMP in the Mario universe with a bunch of drama about a green shy guy and a yellow toad? Who knows? Kirb, are you getting the Switch 2 camera? The Piranha Plant, to be more specific. I am considering it if it's the Piranha Plant, but also, I have no use for the Switch 2 camera because I don't put my face on the internet, let alone Nintendo. Nintendo and Orange, like money, Orange Man is orange, the eShop is orange, both are old, so is Trump Nintendo? Oh my god.
It all comes together.
Where were we? It was really nice to be so surprised by this. It wasn't how we were expecting Donkey Kong's direction to go. What was funny to me was, and of course I've played a ton of Donkey Kong before, and he is of course a very good match for destroying things. He basically started out by destroying a construction site. I realized how therapeutic it was being able to break everything. But I also guessed I just love destroying everything that I play in Nintendo games. I'm the kind of guy who breaks every brick I can reach in a 2D Mario game, regardless of whether or not I need anything. It's like a Mario power. If I already own the coins, I'm still gonna destroy it. Like Zelda, I'm breaking every pot. Speaking of breaking things, when we played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which now has an enhanced frame rate on Switch 2, we were trying to see if we could throw a bunch of bombs in an area or start a fire to break the frame rate. Were you able to find any instances in those games where the frame rate drops down, or does drop down, because Tears of the Kingdom in particular had some issues here and there, but it looks great now? I haven't, to be honest, and believe me, the first thing I did when I booted up the Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild is I went to Korok Forest, because I knew the area previously had been the heaviest processing load, and as I walked around, all this foliage is finally being able to get rendered. I still think it's an absolute it's an absolute wizardry that the Switch hardware was able to run it well, but there's no question that that was the area that saw the biggest performance hit. I saw no dips. Bold claim. Bold. I will say nothing is perfect. I think especially with Tears of the Kingdom, the amount of stuff you can do in that game is impossible to predict because of the access they've given you to building things. I mean, the mechs that people build that go striding through the environment and launching a gazillion missiles, there are probably still going to be ways that you can go beyond the stress of the system, but I haven't found any. Yeah. I mean, literally, yeah. A game that can literally make you build, that allows you to build so many things. Unfortunately, like, not even the best engine can deal with that, you know? Because at the end of the day, there will be a breaking point, like, at any form. When we were playing Metroid Prime 4, I don't really care about Metroid, like, news. Just, I'm not gonna lie, I just don't really... Like, it's cool, great conversation, super happy for them, not what I'm here for. Let's see. First time I played the game I just love. Okay, just still talking about my mouse controls. Let's jump to the sensitivity stuff and talk about the stick, the Joy-Con, because it feels so different to the original Switch's analog stick. So is it a Hall Effect stick? Were you inspired by the Hall Effect stick? Well, the Joy-Con 2's controllers have been designed from the ground up. They're not Hall Effect sticks, but they feel really good. Did you experience both the Joy-Con and the Pro Controller? That is a insane, like, immediate fucking, like, you know, I'm sure in his mind it's nothing crazy, but again, the internet is losing their fucking minds over this. So. Jesus. Yeah. So they're not Hall Effect sticks, but they feel really good. So again, they've been designed from the ground up, which means that maybe they're doing their own version of a fix that we don't know yet. But again, it's just, we don't know. And people immediately, like, doom posting that it's, like, already so fucking over because they didn't fix the drift in this very specific way when they could have their own also very specific, like, fix. It's weird. And I don't get the panic behind it. That might be kind of stupid to say, but again, we won't know until it comes out and people immediately being like, no, it's over, fuck. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, again, it sucks because, again, we want all the information we can because this is multiple hundreds of dollars, like, going into this console. So people want the information. They want to know if they have taken into effect stick drift or something like that. So, I don't know. I don't know. Speaking of the sticks more, we know the original Nintendo Joy-Con had many issues with stick drift, and Nintendo's not alone in that. PlayStation has lots of issues with its DualSense controllers as well. I've never had that issue. Do you know if that's been taken into consideration with the new Joy-Con and Pro controllers, and how that is handled to remedy that? Really, every time we put out a new hardware, whether it's a new system or an accessory, Nintendo is designing from the ground up to be the best possible experience for our consumers. Whether it's the immediate effect of the Joy-Cons that you're playing, how they're interacting with the game, or durability. They take it and rebuild it so that we can give it the best possible experience. Again, feels like a fucking nothing burger. So it's kind of a shame. Even the Steam Deck with the extra buttons on the back, sometimes it's like, what do I need to do with these? Clicking 6, I like that. Stuff okay, here's one that I really want to talk about. Alright. For me personally, one thing I'll automatically reassign there is clicking and sticks. I've never liked that. It's because I'm such a stressful gamer that I probably apply too much force to those things anyway. I'm a guy who is all of a sudden crouching. It's because I've jammed in the left stick, so I'll probably go to those buttons to remap. The beauty of it is that you're going to be able to map your controller preferences by game and by profile. So once you have that thing perfect, the next time you boot that game up, you're booting it up as you. It's going to have your profile saved. It's going to be just like the experience that you want. I love this, specifically because this is something the Steam Deck has done, where the Steam Deck has done the exact same thing where you can have specific game profiles to button prompts. So basically you get to remap button controls by game and by profile, and that's really cool. I'm happy that Nintendo is doing this. Again, it's not the most revolutionary thing, but it's really cool. Trying to just kind of skim through this. Can we go into Game Key? Don't know specific roadmap. I'll go back to what I was talking about when it comes to tools. Yeah. Switch lasted 8 years. We really want to future-proof the Switch 2 and make sure that people can be publishing games on it. I think that'll speak to that. With Welcome Tour, was it ever considered to be a pack-in with the Switch 2, or could we see this come as a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack bonus or something like that down the road? I have no idea. It's funny, Nintendo games take off on a winding path. They almost all start out as the germ of an idea. Donkey Kong Bonanza probably started off with somebody just breaking something as Donkey Kong, and that ballooned into a massive game. So I don't know the particular path they took or how they discussed it, where it's ended up being an actually pretty robust experience. On the show floor, there's a lot of shiny objects, where that one is a much more mellow and you're learning about things, so it may not be the one you spent the most time with, but there's a robust experience there. So it's him just kind of being like, it is worth money or something. Yeah. So this question doesn't come with annoyance or frustration. We're huge. Okay, yeah. So then he ended it talking about Earthbound, which fucking pop off Sion. That's funny as fuck. All right, but yeah, just basically an interview where the guy kind of didn't really have any answers and just kind of did PR speak, which again, it's his job to do that. So again, no hate towards him. It just sucks because again, people want answers and he just will not. Spin a wheel of games that you have on your Switch every half an hour, spend half an hour seeing how low you can get the frame rate in the game just through messing around. That's an interesting idea, but I've done that just playing a game. It's called Fortune Cookie. I've done that before. I am definitely definitely testing the limits today. Also, I'm like sick. Like my nose is stuffed, so I'm sorry if I sound very like nasally. It is because I literally cannot breathe through my nose right now. So, sorry. Yes, you can adjust the sensitivity of the Switch 2's mouse controls. Yes. Nintendo confirms US price for Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Quick, act surprised. It's $10, so no one should buy it. So I hate that. Why? Why is it $10? That's not worth anyone's money or time. Nintendo comments on Mario Kart World's controversial price. I want to talk about this. Alright. One of the hot talking points of the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal last week was the price of games, and the big launch title Mario Kart World has been at the center of that storm. The first brand new Mario Kart in a decade will be launching at a RRP of $80 in the United States, 10 more than Nintendo's current most expensive first-party game, Tears of the Kingdom, and consumers have directed a lot of ire at Nintendo over the price. But in an interview with IGN, Bill Trinan, the vice president of product and player experience, says that the game more than justifies its high price tag. I would say it's less about the strategy of pricing Mario Kart World. It's more just whenever we look at a given game, we just look at what is the experience, and what's the content, and what's the value. With a Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct coming next week, Trinan insists that there is plenty that we don't know about, and teases that more will be revealed on the 17th of April, so tune in if you maybe want to find out about that. The size is part of it, but as are the game's many secrets, many of which we don't know about. Trinan once again dangled the carrot during his chat. This is a game that is so big and so vast that you will find so many little things in it to discover, and there are still some other secrets remaining that I think as people end up buying and playing the game, they're going to find this to be probably the richest Mario Kart experience they've ever had. Bold. Just watch someone playing it, yeah. That's the thing. It's so stupid. In a separate interview with the Washington Post, Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser states that Mario Kart World's price tag, compared to Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is $10, is down to variable pricing. He tells the publication that Nintendo haven't set a benchmark on how it will price games. Similarly to how Trinan says each game is assessed individually, both Bowser and Trinan... That's so funny to say Bowser. Both Bowser and Trinan's comments were crucially made before Nintendo's decision to hold back kicking off... Whoa. Wait. This was made before the back of the pre-orders? Oh no. Oh no. So this is them doing PR before they are really gonna need the PR. Oh yeah, here's one. We went hands-on with the game last week, and many other in New York and Paris have had the chance to try out the new Mario Kart at the various Switch 2 experience events that are happening over the next few months. And while we spotted a few new things, mainly items, courses, things to look at, we've also seen people talking about being abducted by UFOs. And I think it's a skeet. I was abducted by a UFO in Mario Kart World. I was abducted by a UFO in Mario Kart World. I asked a bunch of other folks if that happened to them, and no one knew what the hell I was talking about. So I guess you're gonna get abducted by aliens in Mario Kart World. So there's that. While Mario Kart World will be an $80 game, you can at least get a Switch 2 bundle, limited time offer, Mario Kart World, huge character roster, uncertainty surrounding tariffs and prices. Fans would have been keen to voice their displeasure. Fans have been keen to this, yeah. So I want to read this interview. Mario Kart isn't a Switch 2 edition game is announced. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Mario Party, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Switch 2 edition games improve upon their Switch versions. IGN has plenty of reaction, and Nintendo jumped to $80 for the Switch 2, including from analysts who have helped us understand why this has happened. But what does Nintendo have to say about it? IGN interviewed Nintendo's vice president at a recent Switch 2 preview event. We want to point out our interview with Trina was conducted prior to Nintendo's announcement about delaying Switch 2 pre-orders. In his response, I would say it's less about the strategy. Okay, we already read that. Not give you any hints or anything, but I did read your article this morning, and I think you had mentioned that you didn't find a lot to discover when roaming around, so I would say tune into our Mario Kart Direct to see what maybe you'll be able to find out about that. But honestly, this is a game that is so big and so vast that you'll find so many little things in it to discover. Seems very passionate. Also asked Trinan about the $80 cost of some of the Switch 2 edition games. While there is a $10 upgrade path for existing owners of these games on the Switch, both Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Switch 2 edition, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom are available as part of the Switch Online expansion pack, not offering any sort of discount to newcomers. Trinan's answer echoed his Mario Kart World response, pointing at the value Nintendo sees in its games. Well, again, what I would say is that we just look at each individual game, and we look at the content and the value of that game, and then we say, what is the right price of value for this entertainment? What I would probably counter to some of that is that really what you're looking at is for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, that's the physical price for somebody that has not bought the base game. For somebody who has bought Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, the upgrade packs for those are $9.99. And if you happen to be a Nintendo Online member, yeah, so there's no additional fees or charges. I think overall our general approach is really just focus on what's the content, what's the value, and what's the appropriate thing. Yes. Yeah, people are expecting this thing to be even more expensive, which is bad. It's fucking bad that this is happening to us right now. Here's one of the Nintendo Mario Kart. I want to read this one. Lot money. I want to read a quote here. I just want to say, Joost van Drum, NYU Stern professor and author of Super Juiced Analysis, calls the 449 pricing as a strategic balancing act on Nintendo's part that reflects a mixture of increased manufacturing costs, as well as an ongoing uncertainty as to whether or not tariffs Trump administration in the United States is going to levy on electronics. Sorry to tell you this. Sorry to tell you this, pal. Let's see. We already read this. That was from that. Yeah. Nintendo of America president says tariffs not factored into Switch 2 price. So, yeah. Who was this one? By Alana Higgs. Thank you, Alana, for the amazing article. The Nintendo Switch 2 is a little pricier than many were expecting. The console will cost $449 for the console itself, or $500 with Mario Kart World. For many, that's a lot. And when initially revealed last week, it brought to mind the slew tariffs introduced by the current Trump administration. But President of Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, has told the Virgin Wired that these previous tariffs, that is prior to the Trump administration's new international tariffs on goods and from across the world, was announced on the 2nd of April 2025, were not factored into the price itself. Yeah. So the previous tariffs were not factored when they were considering the price. With the cost of the console a bit on the higher end, Bowser detailed many of the console's new features to The Verge. Yeah, so it is more expensive because there are more features. He reiterated that Nintendo wants the device to be approachable. That's funny. Hey, can we get a bigger look at that? He reiterated that Nintendo wants the device to be approachable and that consumers will embrace it as part of their overall entertainment. That consumers will. You will embrace it. Not they can, but they fucking will. That is disgusting. That is a disgusting statement. I don't know if that's a direct quote. He reiterated that Nintendo wants the device to be approachable and that consumers will embrace it as part of their overall entertainment experiencing. While understanding there is longevity to the console. In response to the new tariffs specifically, which include a 46% increase to Vietnam, where the Switch 2 console is manufactured, 24% increase on Japanese goods, Bowser told The Verge that the news is fresh, and like many companies right now, we are actively assessing what the impact may be. In response to a similar question, Bowser told Wired that the tariffs are something we are going to have to address, and that the diversification of manufacturing, which included moving production from China to Vietnam and Cambodia, another country affected by the new tariffs, initially applied during the early stages of tariffs. However, the situation changed that. These interviews took place on the 3rd of April. As we all know, Nintendo of America announced pre-orders were pushed back. The console is still due to launch on the 5th of June, but whether that $449 price tag sticks remains to be seen. In the weeks prior to the Switch 2's Big Bash, analysts were already expressing concerns about the cost of physical media, and with US pre-orders on hold right now and Nintendo shares dropping, we're working in extremely uncertain times. I want to read the comments for this one. I think the dude's talking about not factoring in past tariffs rather than the upcoming ones, which is true. I do think that's fair. I don't think they were doing it expecting the future tariffs to be so big. I think they were going into it, I don't think they were like, oh yeah, we should expect $449 because of the tariffs being high. The problem is, yeah, like, this shit's gonna get expensive. That would imply prices can and should be lowered due to Trump lowering the tariffs on Vietnamese goods. Is that even true? Is that even fucking true? Trump tariffs Vietnam. Vietnam tariffs offer rejected by Trump advisor, not a negotiation. Yeah. Well, that was quickly debunked. That was debunked. Trump's tariffs will pummel Vietnam. Vietnam's offer means nothing. Yeah. So, yeah, if you thought, yeah, so to this guy, no offense to him, but yeah, no. This is not happening. So, yeah. Hope we hear back soon with what to expect. I'd like to stop holding my breath on what the damage will be. That's the thing. Yeah. This is not a family console, and I don't think Nintendo's ready to accept that Nintendo is trying to not be a family console anymore. And that is a shame. But I think Nintendo is also under the consideration that people will just buy it anyways. As someone who will just buy it anyways, they are right. You know. Okay, we are near the end of Nintendo life. The Switch 2 won't have achievements or eShop music. Okay. Were people genuinely okay? Here's an honest, like a genuine question. Were people genuinely expecting achievements on Nintendo Switch 2? Was this something people actually were asking for? Looks like a pretty cool game. It is. Like, play it. It looks so fun. Were people actually thinking that Switch 2 would have achievements? Also, just in general, not every game needs achievements. I think forced achievements are fucking stupid. No offense, but I think forced achievements are dumb. Because then they just fill it with bullshit. You know? I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't think every game should have achievements, and I don't get why people have, like, lost their, like, specific... Okay, eShop music? That is so sad. We're literally listening to, like, when Nintendo used to be interesting right now. So, you know, I have choice words about not having eShop music or any music whatsoever. But people are, like, losing their minds that the Switch 2 won't have achievements. I don't know. Like, I don't know. And I'm someone that likes platinuming games if I really like them. Like Spider-Man, Astro Bot. Like, those are so fun to do because they're things that basically lead you into finding secrets. And that's cool. I like achievements where they're like, hey, but you didn't know about this thing, and it, like, kind of leads you to find nice Easter eggs, little things like that. I love those achievements. But things that are like, do this 100 times. Find the 5 golden poopy eggs. You know, stuff like that. I don't get that. I never enjoyed that. Might just be a personal opinion, though. This is the game that, like, Subby was talking about. Let's see what it's about. A new game for Nintendo Switch 2. Oh, wow. This is Mouse UFO 50. Oh, that's cool. Oh, this game looks so cute. Oh my god. 1 to 4 party game using mouse controls. I really like that. This looks fun. Oh, this just looks so cute. Mouse work. This looks fun. This looks so fucking fun. These are the same people that made Shovel Knight Dig, by the way. So these are really good developers. That's really cool. Yeah, it very much looks like Part-Time UFO. This looks chill as fuck. I'd play that. Dude, me and Subby playing that? I'd do that. Don't worry, you won't lose your Animal Crossing New Horizons Island on Switch 2. Good, good, good. This is the best news. Nintendo Switch 2 game cartridges still taste disgusting. I can't believe that other people are trying that. I think that's it. I think that is officially all we have. 44 minutes ago. Nintendo understands Switch owners may not be ready to jump to Switch 2, and it wants to keep those players engaged. Nintendo's future is very much focused on the launch of the Switch 2, but as we already know, it will also be continuing to support the original system. The company has already locked in some new Switch titles for the next year, and during a chat with the Washington Post, Nintendo of America's president Doug Bowser acknowledged how not everyone is necessarily ready to make the jump. With the consideration, Nintendo wants to ensure original owners remain engaged with the brand, as there are over 150 million Switch units out in the wild. Apparently, we might hear more about the plans to keep existing Switch owners coming back to more as at the next earnings call. Quote, "We have an installed base of 150 million plus units. We'll probably announce more on May 8th when we have our next earnings call. We want to keep those players engaged. Not all of them may be ready to jump the Switch 2. Bowser also notes how Nintendo will come to observe consumers and how they engage with Nintendo at various levels, which can help the company understand what the future may look like. You know what it is? The right games will also play a major part. Hey, fun fact. You know what the right game is? Not a $10 instruction manual. That's not one of the good games. That's not a right game. That's not the right game. Fun fact. I miss when Nintendo hardware wasn't soulless. I think it's just simply, I think they're just explaining that it just sucks. That's lame. That's a shame. Yeah. I think that's everything. Cool. All right. So they didn't talk about the one piece of news I wanted to talk about. So this is Nintendo Soup. So stay here for a bit. Wow, oh my god, here's the chapter. Welcome to Nintendo Soup. This is a new website that I've never heard about. So I'm going to reset this, and we're just going to see what brand new Nintendo Switch news has come out. Oh, wait. Rumor. Screenshots from Pokemon Legends ZA and Gen 10 game leaked online. Wait. 32 minutes ago? Some screenshots allegedly unreleased Pokemon games have been leaked online. Leaks appear for... Don't miss the news! No, stop. I'm trying to not miss the news right now. The leaks themselves appear to have originated from 4chan and other sources. It is presumed that they may have been the result of the infamous Game Freak Terra leak that confirmed. Find more past the spoiler warning below. I will not show this. Let me see what it is. Okay, wait, what? Oh, so that's a new mega. That's another new mega. Or at the very least, a Pokemon confirmed. Oh, that's a what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that mega? Weird. All right, interesting. That was nothing, but still, that was ucky. Weird megas. That showed weird megas. That's all I'm gonna say. This is a 101 on how to get nuked by Nintendo. Yeah. Rumor Nintendo Switch 2 stock for launch day 3 times larger than Switch in France. Move your Animal Crossing over to Switch 2. We already know that. The largest Switch. Yeah, we already know that. My Nintendo Store Switch 2 Edition physical releases have all content on the Switch game card. I'm going to pull up my latest Blue Sky post, actually. Where did my... Oh. Here we are. Let's open up my Blue Sky. I need to, profile. I specifically talk about that. Oh, it's us. Okay, this right here. The Nintendo Switch 2 physical editions, they have disgusting text on them, and people, myself included, thought that this specific blurb on the bottom... Oh, wait. Nope. Bam. Alright, there we go. So a lot of people, myself included, have thought that this blurb here meant a lot more than it was. But yeah, okay. But also, they fucking take up so much of the box art to put this shit on there. Alright, ready? Includes the Nintendo Switch, so this is the Switch 2 edition of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It is releasing on both Switch 2 and Switch 1. So that's the preface of it. Switch 2 box specifically has this blurb on the bottom. Quote, includes the Nintendo Switch game and the Nintendo Switch 2 edition upgrade pack. Upgrade packs also available separately. For details, visit the website. So this made me very scared. Made me very scared. And I talk about that. I'll literally quote my own skeet. Okay, can I just say this is by far my least favorite thing about Switch 2, where if a game's coming out on both 2 and 1, the physical for 2 versions are just the Switch 1 game and a required download just so you can have better graphics. Again, when I saw that, I saw includes the Nintendo Switch game and the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade pack. I feel it is very poorly worded because it makes it sound like, yes, in the box it includes the original Nintendo Switch cartridge, but it also includes the upgrade pack. It makes it seem that there are 2 completely separate things in the box. So I thought reading into it that, like, yes, because again, it's not worded well, and again, it's such a big disclaimer that it makes you think for the worst. So yeah, I thought it meant, yeah, Switch 1 game, but with the DLC code inside of it. I go even further into it. This means that future games like Tomodachi Life, Rhythm Heaven, and even Pokemon ZA will only be Switch 1 with a download code for an extra $20. Like, I get the reason of only needing to produce 1 cartridge, but this fucking sucks. At this point, I'm just giving up and going all digital. Like, it's kind of cool that it means you can play those multiplats on Switch 1, even if you chose the Switch 2 version, but I just want a dedicated version without downloads for graphics, you know? Especially considering the price. I also had another comment. That's not what I'm trying to do. Like, I hate how this, of all things, is now the main reason I want Nintendo to commit to new console exclusives. And that's the big thing. And then, it has officially been... Let's put the music back on. It has been confirmed. Yesterday, Marvelous, a third-party publisher, confirmed that Nintendo Switch 2 edition physical releases have all content, including the game and upgrade pack, on a Nintendo Switch game card. Holy fucking shit. This should not have been... Oh my god. You will receive 1 cartridge with the upgrade already in it. However, if you already have the game for Nintendo Switch 1, it's like... Why did you make... I don't know. I don't get it. You know? I don't know. Like, it's so weird for them to like clarify that in such a weird way, you know? Like, I don't know. Why does this... It's so bizarre, and I don't get it. But, yeah, no, literally, we had to go out of our way to get this clarification, because, you know, we didn't think that that was an issue until they put a big blurb on the fucking front of the box. But also, one big thing about it is, if we go back to that LA Noire... If we go back to that LA Noire Switch box, boop, and, there we go. Okay, so if you go back here, internet download required, they do expressly, like, identify that if you want to play this game, you have to require the internet. Game key cards also are like, an internet download is required to download this game and to play this game. Stuff like that. If it required an internet connection to download something like a code for an upgrade pack, they would have said that expressly. And so this is kind of like a pseudo apology, because granted, my literacy was not existing. And I even talked about it, and I even like kind of low-key admitted to it. Boop. Boop. Nope, wrong one. Oh, wrong one. Oh, why do I have a new tab? What? Why do I have a new tab as a bookmark? Social media, Blue Sky. Profile. I talk about it, and I kind of blame myself for this. Dude, all the fucking fake news that has happened with this launch has been so bad, third parties had to clarify for us. I say that because it has also been confirmed that the $90 Switch game thing, okay, nowadays it could be, you know, nowadays, like, it's more likely to happen because of Trump. Fuck Orange Man. But it, yeah, I I will admit that I kind of fell for it. I fell for the fake news, and that's on me. That was stupid on my part. Because yeah, I didn't even decide to like read this and thinking that it was like, oh no, it is the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 upgrade. If it needed to put in the code, put in the upgrade, it would say internet connection is required. That's on me. Same confirmation has, Switch 2. Now, the same confirmation has been provided by My Nintendo Store in North America and a reply to YouTube channel Nintendo Prime. Regarding your query, if you purchase a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of a game on physical format, you will receive one cartridge with the upgrade already in it. This should clear all doubts and rumors surrounding the nature of Switch 2 physical releases. Last week, there was confusion over whether the upgrade pack came in the form of a download code and whether or not the game was on a Switch or Switch 2 game card. What do you think? Thank fucking God. Thank fucking God, because I cannot tell you how devastated I was, because I was like, dude, I really want to get Tomodachi Life on a cartridge. I want Tomodachi Life Living the Dream on my Switch, and I want it to be fucking awesome. But it's a shame, because again, like, this confusion was not a thing until Nintendo put the clarifying text on it. It did the exact opposite of what it was supposed to do. You can rotate the camera by 360 degrees in Mario Kart World, and I think that's more because of, you can 360 the camera because you can, play open world Mario Kart, which is cool. It's cool. Fan art. What if Nintendo Switch 2 had home menu themes? This looks really good. Whoever did this, let's see who find out who did it. Oh, these are fan-made ones. Look at this. Wow, who did this? Reddit user palmtree_04. Well done. These look really cool. There's a Mario Kart one. This one looks rad. See, this is the thing. And it's working perfectly in the format of the Switch 2 menu. Like this. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. This looks so good. Donkey Kong Bonanza. This one looks so cool. Oh, this one looks so cool. Splatoon. Oh, this one looks so good. Kirby, all with all the little Kirby arts and sprites and stuff. Man, massive. Wow. We are now on a new website, and we're looking at some cool, like, fan-made menu themes. Like, dude, this is what I want. Oh, here's a cool feature. Wait, look at this. All the different games, the different themes. So you know how, like, Nintendo now, if it hovers over a game for Switch 2, it'll have, like, a little bit of, like, a color gradient hovering over, like, the outline right here? Depending on the game, it'll have a different color outline. So like for Mario Kart, it's got like more like kind of a rainbow color, but then Donkey Kong has like the purples and the bright neon blues. That looks really good. And then for Splatoon, they're doing like all the different colors, mostly like purples, oranges, yellows. And then Kirby, it's nice and pink. That looks... This guy, Nintendo, hire this man. Nintendo, hire this man. Unironically, Nintendo, hire this man. That is wild. That's cool. Nintendo Switch 2 eShop won't have any background music. That's cringe. I don't like it, but whatever. Nintendo Switch 2 won't have game achievements. I don't know why people thought it would. I don't know why. I don't know why they thought it would. Let's see. Nintendo confirms Nintendo Switch 2 analog sticks are not Hall effect sticks, but again, it's like, we don't know if that, like, that doesn't mean they haven't done anything about it, you know? It is likely they haven't done anything about it, but it's not a hard confirm that they literally did nothing to address it. For all we know, they have, and they just haven't explained why. My Nintendo Store update hints at Switch 2 eShop improvements. Nintendo has rolled out a couple of subtle updates to their My Nintendo Store websites, as well as the Nintendo e-commerce website, signaling potential improvements to the website or to the eShop. Nintendo Commerce website product pages, download software, started listing different file sizes for Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. The main reason for this, we believe, is to allow for different file sizes for performance updates for Nintendo Switch software. Other Nintendo Switch 2 related disclaimers, as well as UI signaling the original platform of the title, has also been added. Okay. Required space for either console. Okay, that's kind of cool. Moving on, the official My Nintendo Store page has added a related tags. Tags? Ooh, while this tag system is something new to North America, it has been used for several years for My Nintendo in Japan. Okay. Tags are being used on the Nintendo eShop on Nintendo Switch. We believe that they will be used in some way or form to recommend games via the new Game Finds You feature. Yeah. That's cool. Whoop. Whoops. Wrong button. I bricked my PC. I bricked my PC. Fuck it. Fuck it. So if I understand everything correctly, each game $10 to update them for Switch 2? No, because it can depend on the game. That is what Bill Trinan said. It could be $10 upgrades, but I am not... We don't know. I think it might be, just like with Switch games specifically on their own, it might be a case-by-case basis, which sucks. Also, holy fuck, King Boo looks so good. Mario Kart World physical copies and other first-party Nintendo Switch 2 games are less expensive in Asia? Yo? Well, the typical version of the game will retail for $79.99 in the US. It will retail for $68 USD, so for $70 in Asian territories. Wow. Generally speaking, the price of first-party Nintendo Switch games in Asian territories are pegged to Japanese prices. Though there are a few exceptions, it seems that it will still apply on Switch 2. The dual pricing for digital and physical, where physical versions of first-party cost 10 less than physical versions, will still apply in Asia. Wow. So yeah, like, fuck Orange Man. I'm sorry. Fuck Orange Man. Fuck Orange Man. I did it again. Pikmin 401 would be fun. Parent gets scolded by child for not playing enough to qualify for Switch 2 lottery. That's funny as fuck. Physical Switch 2 edition games contain Switch 1 game card with an upgraded download code. We found out that that was debunked. Sakurai had to sign up to the My Nintendo Store lottery to get a Switch 2. What, you made Smash Brothers? Don't fucking care. You're not special. That's funny. Nintendo Switch 2 physical game cases are slightly larger than Switch game cases. Why? But why? Each game, yeah, no. I don't know. Korea leaks Donkey Kong Bonanza story spoiler. I won't say that. Leaks Mario Kart World spoiler. Interesting. Switch 2 edition upgraded games will still work on Switch 1. Oh, that's good. That's good. So you can still use it if it's a game that also runs on Switch 1. You don't have to buy a Switch 1 game. That's cool. So he ain't getting one for free. I think that's what they're saying, but I think it's also... He probably... Like, Sakurai has dev kits, okay? He still has stuff like that. Ugh. 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 But while the baseline 10% tariff rate is now in effect for all countries, some countries will be hit by additional tariffs on April 9th. It is important to note that these tariffs affect all imports, regardless of product, and are paid by the entity that imports them. How could these additional tariffs affect the price of Switch 2 and other software? Export data for Switch 2 paints a better picture on pricing. Gibson at MST reported that the export data for Nintendo Switch 2 systems manufactured in Vietnam destined for the US market are valued at $338 USD per unit for custom duties. This would mean that if the United States did not threaten to impose any tariffs, Nintendo would have most likely priced the system at $399. Adjusted for inflation, this would make it in line with past Nintendo home consoles, including Nintendo Switch. Back in 2017, Nintendo Switch systems were valued for around $260 for customs, and the console continues to have a suggested retail price of $299. Unlike other platforms, Nintendo was making a small profit off each unit sold, and we could expect that Nintendo is also making a small profit off each Switch 2 console. Current Switch 2 SRP includes a 15% buffer for potential tariffs. After the April 2nd Nintendo Direct, retailer listings revealed that the standalone Switch 2 would cost $449 in the US, USD 50 more than $399, the price that many fans and industry watchers expected. Based on the information we now know, this means that Nintendo expected the US government to impose a 15% on imports. Aside from Japan, which has a Japanese-only system offered at a low price, due to the weak yen, the suggested retail price on all platforms were priced around the same as the US in order to prevent reselling and parallel imports from other countries. This is an unusual as most electronic companies as Apple offer their products at a price point similar to the US. Yeah. Nintendo cannot escape, yeah. Nintendo products are primarily manufactured in 5 key markets, and in principle, the Liberation Day tariffs will apply on all imports, regardless of product. Oh, there's a nice list too. So in Japan, the game cards 24%, game consoles and accessories in China 54%, which I think Trump even was like, hey, I will do another 50% if you fuck with me. And so I guess this will now become 104%. So I guess they're basically like, hey, we'll double. I'll fucking double it. Because I'm words that'll get me demonetized on YouTube and canceled if I say it out loud. But it's fun. You know what I want to say? Really bad fucking words, because I hate Donald Trump. Vietnam, 46% in Vietnam, which they went to. Oh, it's fucked. Cambodia, game consoles, 49%. Malaysia, 24%. Jesus Christ. At the moment, Nintendo is manufacturing Nintendo Switch 2 systems in China and Vietnam. Vietnam handling all consoles destined for the US market. Nintendo Switch 2 accessories, on the other hand, come from 3 different sources. While Malaysia and Cambodia have been used for production of some Switch systems during the COVID-19 public health emergency, it seems that Nintendo isn't using these countries to produce Nintendo Switch 2 systems at this time. Based on these numbers, here's how much the Switch 2 will be priced at if Nintendo exports from 4 countries after the tariffs. China, yeah, so if it was made in China, it could be as high as $600. Vietnam could be as high as $570. If it was one made in Malaysia, it could be up to $489. Assuming Nintendo countries to rely on Vietnam, the SRP would have to be adjusted. Assuming Nintendo continues to rely on Vietnam, the SRP would have to be adjusted to $570.99. 570 USD, Jesus. While Malaysia offers the smallest increase at $490. Nintendo would need months to set up production lines and scale up production in the country. It is unclear how feasible this is, considering that Malaysia wasn't producing as much Switch consoles as the other countries. As a result, relying on Malaysia is bound to make the Switch 2 even harder to find in the US in the short term. The 24% tariffs on game cards from Japan may also affect the price of Switch 2 physical games, unless publishers decide to eat the cost. Which they won't. They will not. $10 price difference between digital and physical. Markup could be explained by higher manufacturing costs as well as the buffer for tariffs. Assuming the buffer was also 15%, the SRP of physical games from Nintendo could increase by up to $5 in the US. So you could be seeing a $15 increase instead of a $10 increase. So everything could be like 85 or something like that. Jesus. As for other accessories, price increases are guaranteed due to the large tariffs. SRPs could increase by up to 50% as all 3 countries are heavily affected. Best course of action for Nintendo. The best course of action for Nintendo at this point of time is to wait. Countries are responding to the tariffs, and Vietnam is trying to negotiate by removing all their tariffs from US imports. It is not happening. Trump is a fucking idiot, so nope. Even though millions of Americans are protesting on the streets, Donald Trump does not care about the American people, so anyways, it's 9 o'clock. I'm sure the people that actually give a shit about politics are not here right now. Tariffs will not just affect Switch 2. Like, here's the thing. The worst part. Wow. This has been a thing for years, apparently. Jesus. Yeah. Fucking God. Cool website, though. I've never heard of this website before. It's cool that they're breaking news, kinda. Check out Nintendo Soup. Alright. This is sad.
Yerp.
I wanted to see if there's any, like, immediate news, but again, like he said, like the publication said, yeah. Here, let me check something. Do you think the stock market is doing good at all? Yep. Holy fucking God. Okay, some things are raising. Some stocks are raising. Actually, huh. Yeah, the world markets, the US is it's fucked. Yeah, stocks are fucked in America. Asia actually is the Chinese stocks are actually increasing, funnily enough. So, yeah, rattled by tariffs. Mm-hmm. This is the to quote IGN Business, or not IGN, to quote CNN Business, quote, "This is the stock market's worst start to a presidential term in modern history." Yep. Yeah. I think there was also things that were like, I think there was like a Wall Street Bets post on Reddit that was like, it was something like, what was it? It was, put the pronouns back in the bios. I'm so fucking down. And it's like, hey, it's your fault. That's the thing. It's like, I have made peace in the fact that I didn't vote for this fucker, so I made the right choice. Everybody else is fucking idiotic to think that this idiotic old man was actually able to solve all your problems. I mean, granted, I said that and we had Joe Biden for a president. He didn't do anything, so, you know, whatever. I didn't vote, so I must stay quiet. I lost the right to complain the moment I decided to not vote. Yeah. Sorry, that didn't mean to come off as, like, rude, but, like, yeah. Yeah, that's the problem, is that people thought that Orange Man could fix everything, and they were wrong. Should have thought about that when they put fucking RFK as the head of Medicare. And it's like, yeah, you lose money. That's your fault. You know? I don't know what to feel. I'm not going to tell people what to feel or what people should think about this whole thing at this point. It's fucked. There's nothing really to say about it. It's fucking, it sucks. I will say, you know, we're resilient people, you know, human beings. We adapt, we overcome, we fucking thrive. Like, literally, if you want any form of, well, I'm gonna double check before I even say this, just in case something bad happened. There are millions of people protesting on the street. And, you know, there are people right now. There is a system, there are movements called Hands Off, and it is millions of Americans walking the streets, raising their signs, and holding firm on their ground. New York, Idaho, Delaware, all these different states, and they are marching, blocking the streets. They are letting their shit be known. You know it's bad? Dude, you know it's bad when the billionaires are complaining. The billionaires, the people that, like, Trump is secretly trying to aid in the first place because, of course, he wants to protect the billionaires and not the actual American people that voted for him. But anyways, the fucking billionaires that are the true motivation to why Trump is doing all this, they don't fucking like it. They don't like this shit. And it's like, dude, if this is the one time we can side with the fucking billionaires in order to make change, fuck it. Give them picket signs too. Who cares? We have shown that truly a guy doing nothing truly was the net positive that we actually needed. At least we got to make funny memes. The only funny memes we get to make about Trump is that he funny Orange Man. And I'm sorry, I have choice words to say about Lay Funny Orange Man. Anyways, goodbye, Piranha Plant. 07 for Piranha Plant chat. I'm not going to say that I like what's going on, but if there's any solace that I can make about this situation is, like, you know, we're strong, we're adaptable, we'll overcome. We can do a lot of stuff. We're capable of great things, everybody. And it's like, I think this is only the end if we let it be the end, you know? Like, that's the thing. This is only the end of everything if we allow it to be the end of everything. We have the ability to mobilize, we have the ability to make change in the world. That is how humanity and freedom works. That's one of the nice things about being in America, is that we can fucking fight back. And I'm not gonna say fight or whatever. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna try to mobilize a fucking 5-people army. You know, it's fucking stupid. But I'm saying there is hope. There is hope in the world that we still have the ability to make change, no matter what fuck-ass Orange Man can do. He's stupid, fuck-ass Orange Man, me no like Orange Man. Obvious to say. So I make what little I can do known. You know, I have to live paycheck to paycheck. This is going to affect me a fuck ton. Like, I am terrified of the fact that I have been struggling to pay rent for the past 6 months. This is not going to help, okay? I am terrified. I am saying this as somebody who is fucking terrified of how I'm going to live these next few months. I don't have money in the stock market. I don't have money, period. Okay? I am barely able to keep my lights on and still work. I clean fucking toilets and shit for a living, and then I do this for fun. Go figure. This is the reality we have to live with, and this is the reality that we have to fight against. You want change to happen, you have to talk about it however you see fit, and if you need somebody to be an escape from all this, fun fact, matey, I never outwardly talk about politics outside of this stuff. This is the only time I'll talk about politics. Literally, we have the ability to make change happen. You hate it? Talk about hating it. Talk to people about it, if that is something you want to do. And if not, hey, fun fact. Literally, under any other circumstance, you can come here to me. We'll play fucking funny Bing Bing Mario Nintendo video game. And for a few hours in our day, we can forget any of this shit is happening ever. So, just a reminder, I don't usually talk about politics. I don't plan on doing this ever again. Literally, all of this was just me being like, hey, I want to look at Switch 2 news. Unfortunately, it's related to politics, so I have to talk about politics in some fucking form. I think, regardless, you can tell what my idea would be about this whole thing. I hate stupid Orange Man. He's fucking stupid, to put it nicely. And yeah, this whole situation sucks, but there's hope. People are fighting. Billionaires are fucking hating it, so, you know, I guess there's that. But yeah, in general, in the future, and after this stream, I hope to never talk about the politics ever again. Just to say, hey, I'm excited for Switch 2 regardless. I'm gonna buy it. I know I'm gonna buy it. That's just who I am. And I'm gonna play Donkey Kong, and I'm gonna forget this shit ever happened at all. My wallet will. My wallet's gonna remember that shit happened, but just do what you can. And if you can't do anything at all, then just vibe out and chill out with me for a few hours, and we'll talk about video games and hopefully never ever again talk about politics. That's all I'm gonna say. I think that's a good place to end it tonight, just to hold it with some form of hope. Literally, some form of literally anything. Because that's all you can do, right? You have to have hope. You gotta have faith, you know? You gotta have some minute hope and joy and just something that everything's gonna be okay. You have to hope that everything will be okay, because literally, what else can you do, right? You just have to hope something's gonna happen. And if you can't get the Switch 2, don't get it. Make the smart financial decision to not buy the Switch 2. That is a smart thing to do. I'm not gonna say that it isn't. You need to be smart about how your thing is gonna go. You need to consider your situation, and if you can't get the Switch 2, do not beat yourself up about it. If anything, just fucking live vicariously through me playing it. I don't know. Because I am still somewhat in a good financial position that I can justify doing that. Please understand, again, you deciding that you cannot afford the Switch 2, it sucks, but you are making the right decision. You are smart for understanding, hey, this is not going to work for me. You're not an idiot, you're not stupid, you're not anything bad for not being able to do it. It's an expensive console. That's a fact. And for a lot of people, that's going to be a sad fact for so many people. And that sucks. And I'm never going to say that doesn't suck. But please understand, there is hope. You know? Hopefully something changes. You just gotta hope. You gotta have faith. Just hope something happens, you know? Like, this situation sucks. We don't have answers. Time heals all wounds. It does. Nature reclaims the burned down forest to start the forest anew. You know. You just gotta have something happens. When the Paper Mario crumbles, the Bug Fables rises up, you know? You just gotta be careful. And again, I hope this didn't lead to me just yerking off Nintendo, but it really just feels like I really do feel like people just need to, like, I hope it is understood that you are not an idiot for thinking that everything's too expensive. You are dead on correct. So please understand, you're not an idiot. Like, this is stupid. It's greedy. It's gross. And especially with the tariffs, hurts even more. But you're gonna wake up tomorrow. It's not guaranteed, but it's more guaranteed than you getting the Switch 2 at this point. But tomorrow's a new day. You're gonna take another deep breath. You're gonna be able to breathe in air and exhale out more breath. You're gonna wake up with a roof under your head, hopefully. You're gonna have food on your plate. Like, that is what's more important. And hopefully just take that in, breathe, and just understand that like, I had to understand, over this past not even a fucking week, you have to understand this is just a video game. There's so many things you can do. You can go out on walks. You can read a book. You can hang out with me just talking about funny video games for a few hours and forget that this shit even happens or exists. And that's something I've had to figure out, apparently, by reading random-ass news articles. But I hope everybody has a good night. Just stay safe out there. Please stay safe out there. Everything will wash over. The tide will always wash everything. Everything will happen. I can't give answers. I can't give certainties. But the one thing I can say is that just take a deep breath and wait. It's what I have to do. It's what everybody has to do. You're not alone in this, okay? It's so fucking expensive, and you're not alone for thinking that. You'll wake up with a roof under your head. Did I say a roof under your head? Man, I know that's me ruining the, Well, now you just ruined it. I know realistically I was the one that ruined it by not saying the correct thing. Yeah, everything's, yeah, wow. Okay, cool, never mind, fuck you. I hope you never afford the fucking Switch. Never mind, I hope it's $1,000, actually. You know what, never mind. Never mind, fuck you, the Switch should be $1,000, and I think you guys are ungrateful, actually. Damn. Damn, okay. Thanks for everything. You help a lot. I hope I do. And I hope that's the little thing. If I can't provide concrete sentences that make any sense, I hope the least I can do is offer some form of entertainment value that, at least for the minuscule amount of hours in our lives, can help us forget about things and we can just laugh and have fun. That's all I can hope. Fits your channel well. Wow. Wow. Oh, I wish it was 3K fits your channel well. The Switch? Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you meant me mispronouncing things fits my channel well, and I was about to lose my fucking mind. How fucking dare you? But anyways, okay, genuinely though, I hope everyone has a good night. I will see you guys. I do have Wednesday off of work, so I think we should have a Wednesday stream, because I really do need to play video games, and I need to convince myself to play a video game. So we'll do some video games on Wednesday. I promise you know what we could do? I wasn't able to do the Switch tier list. You know what we should do? We should do the Switch tier list on Wednesday. Let's push that back to Wednesday, because I know I didn't do the Switch tier list, but Switch tier list on Wednesday, if I can do it, and then if not, we'll do the Switch tier list on Friday, and then Pokemon. But yeah, reminder, I have Pokemon stuff I have to do. Yeah, y'all have been amazing. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you either Wednesday or Friday. We'll see about that. But yeah, one thing I do know is that regardless, the next time I see you, I will see...